Drew. My name is Ben Thorp. I have a little YouTube channel called Ben Thorp, the same as my title at AKA Able, where I've collected a few memes from I just started a kind of experience on the internet of interacting with a community called the Jim Bob community. I'm starting to live stream a series about that interaction. It's called The Thorpocalypse, an analysis. And the first part of that series starts tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Love to have anyone come over. I also have provisionally a commitment from E. Michael Jones to debate me on the topic of, is the Gospel of John anti-Jewish? And also from Posh Redneck to debate Roman Catholicism versus Eastern Orthodoxy. Can the split be healed?
Gotcha. Thank you for that. Andrew, this is your home, but still, I think you should give some words of wisdom. Shout out to everybody. You're muted. You're definitely muted.
Sorry about that. Just got home from work, right? So just readjusting here in the studio. One of my lights went out. I didn't have a chance to change the bulb. Anyway, my name is Andrew Wilson. I'm the owner of The Crucible. Hoping that I'll enjoy this debate. I don't have a lot of hope that I will. Mr. Thorp has been pestering me about it for several days nonstop, but we'll see when you know it meets the mesh how he does. Go ahead.
Gotcha. All right, sir. So since you were the challenger, Ben, you get the first opening statement. You're going to get 7 minutes. So whenever you're ready, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so I thought I'd lead off today. Our topic that I think we agreed on is, in today's political climate, people should, one, pursue conspiracy theories less, and two, respect proper authority more. And I'm taking the affirmative on that. So I thought we'd start by talking about today's news. The Queen of England died this morning. And of course, here you have the perfect locus of conspiracy theories and authority. And I'm actually wearing black today. It's my little tribute to the Queen of England, though I am not a subject. But I also had the interesting experience of going on the live stream that is, brought about the Thorpocalypse. And I saw there that the intro was something like, hey, the Queen, I heard, oh, the Queen died. Isn't she a child eater? I guess we should say, may God rest her soul in peace. And then, actually, she's probably been dead for years. Don't you guys know that? So that kind of little snippet, I think, is a good introduction to what I think the problem here is. And the problem, I think, is what we have here is a problem of authority, right? Who do we trust? And, what do we kind of question? And I think this is an historical problem, which we've been dealing with in the West since the split between Eastern Orthodoxy and Roman Catholicism back around 1054. It was exacerbated by the Protestant revolt, or the Protestant Reformation, whatever you want to call it, in 1517. It was further exacerbated by the French Revolution. And there have been revolutions since then: the Russian Revolution, Bloody Revolution, World War II, most recently the sexual revolution in the 1960s. And people have lost a sense of what is proper authority, who can I trust? And the danger of that is that we can descend into a kind of, where we don't trust anyone, I would call it epistemological nihilism, that, what can we trust? And I think it's our task, especially for younger people who I know are watching the show, to really try to regain that trust, because we don't really have an alternative to that. And while conspiracy theories can be interesting, they can also lead us to a kind of spiral where we lose touch with reality. And so I think it is time for us to pursue conspiracy theories less and respect proper authority more. And I think one example of that is today. I think that as a human being, a fellow human being, we should save our conspiracy stuff today and pay respects to the Queen of England, who whatever you might think of her, spent 70 years in the limelight and lived a very, very difficult life and tried to maintain dignity when the world was sort of falling apart and her personal family was sort of falling apart and continues to. That's my statement.
Thank you for that, sir. Andrew, whenever you're ready, I'll reset the clock on my side.
No need. I'll yield my time.
Perfect. All right. Who wants to shoot
I'll
the
go
first
I'll
question
go first
off?
if you don't. I'll go
Sure.
for it first if you don't mind. Ben, why should I trust you? Can you give me one good solid reason why I should?
Yeah, this is the problem that came up on the live stream community. My name is Ben Thorp. I can tell you about where I live, but you should trust me because I'm another human being until I tell you something that doesn't.
Do you tell your children that they should trust strangers, Ben? Especially adult males, like if they're walking alone in the park, your young children. Do you tell them that they should trust adult male men because they're fellow human beings, Ben?
I would say you have to be careful, but when they go to school,
Well, why would they have to be careful? Those are fellow human beings, Ben. Yeah, you just said that the criteria and qualification for why I should trust you is because you're a fellow human being.
But you're not a child, Andrew, are you?
Well, wait a second, though. Now the qualification is adults should trust adults. Is that the qualification?
I think that's generally true.
Okay, so not children. So children shouldn't just trust everybody, right?
Children should trust their parents to tell them who to trust.
So what about low IQ adults? Should they trust anybody? Or should they be very cautious about who they trust?
I think that people with very low IQ should be taken care of by their parents or an authority.
Well, I mean, what if it's not so low that you can't function, but it's so low that it's very easy for you to be taken advantage of? Should those people have trust issues? Should they be very cautious? For instance, let's say you have a low IQ woman who's like 19 or 20. She just struck out on her own. Yeah. Well, she could be taken advantage of by adult males pretty easy, couldn't she, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, actually, if you want to talk about young
females. No, Ben, I don't want an anecdote. Don't give a shit about your anecdotes. I want to know, should a 20-year-old woman who's maybe not that bright and just struck out on her own just trust every man who comes into her life because they're fellow human beings?
I think that she should trust her father until she gets married and then trust her husband.
She shouldn't just trust strangers that she doesn't know. That's not a good idea, Ben.
As an adult, I think she can trust people at the grocery store who are checking out her groceries.
You don't think that a lot of men who are hyper predator would take advantage of like a beautiful 20-year-old who didn't have like a lot of experience in the world and maybe was low IQ?
I think that adults, male and female, have to negotiate the world, and hopefully they've been prepared to do so by their formation. But I recognize that we live in a low trust society, and there are reasons.
No, well, but there's reasons that you have a low trust society, right?
I agree with you.
So the question becomes is, why should I trust you? You say I should trust you because you're a fellow human being, but when we look at qualifiers that aren't me and aren't you, suddenly nobody should fucking trust anybody.
Why shouldn't you trust me? I'm on a live stream.
What do you mean shouldn't? Why should I?
Why shouldn't you is the question I'm asking.
Well, no, you can't ask me to define for you why I ought do something. That's your ought statement. Why ought I trust you, Ben?
Yeah, and I'm saying, why ought you not trust me?
That's not literally. That's a fallacy. You're asking me.
That's a fallacy. That statement is a fallacy.
To define a negative for you. I can't tell you why I ought not do thing. Right. This is your prescription is I need to trust you.
You don't need to trust me.
Okay, well then that's the end of that portion.
That I'm another person.
That's the end of that portion of the debate. Unless you want to tell me why I should trust you.
This is actually not the topic of the debate, whether you should trust me.
Then why did you bring it up in your opening statement?
What did I bring up?
You brought up that I should trust you.
My point is you should trust people in authority. More, you should not you personally, but that young people should try to find good sources of authority. I think within their families, within their church, within society, and in the world. I think that you
think more altar boys should trust more priests, Ben?
I think altar boys, generally speaking, should trust priests. Yes, I do. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that parents
should they get close to them. Should they get close to their priest, Ben? Like, come on, man. At what point are you going to use your reason here? You can't have a decadent. You can't have a decadent.
Andrew, I think
society.
I've been being reasonable, and I think you've been
have
coming
a
at this
decadent.
debate
Hey,
in an extremely hostile way, and I
can't-
just don't understand why.
You can't have.
I'm here to debate a topic with you,
I'm
and you're
trying
just
to get
trying to
into it.
manhandle me.
When you get into the realm of having a society that's completely and totally decadent and without morals and degenerate, and then you come in and say have high trust, that's absurd. You would have to
I know it's difficult. I understand that it's
reforge the
difficult.
entire face of society in order to bring what you call a high trust society, where I could just trust some stranger on the internet to give him my phone number, call him, and say good morning to him.
Well, I don't know about the internet. I mean, but I think, for example, having a guest like me on your show is something that is not a threat to you. I was on a show. I was immediately, because I wasn't exactly like everybody else. I was, suspected of being a Hollywood or a media hitman,
Maybe you
police
are.
informant.
Maybe you are, Ben.
Yeah, maybe anyone's anything. But my point is,
that's right.
What's the theory?
Hang on. Maybe they are, and maybe that's why we shouldn't be so quick to trust other people, Ben.
Well, then why are you on the internet if you don't want to meet people and hear their ideas? Isn't that the purpose of this channel?
Why does that require trust?
It requires a little bit of trust.
Why?
Because you put me on your channel, and I give you credit for that.
Why does that require trust?
Well, isn't that your point? Why should you trust me? I think you should trust me, that I don't think it could possibly be a threat to you.
Why? But you could be a threat to somebody somewhere. You could be a threat. I mean, I have no idea. I don't know anything about you. Why
sure, anyone could be a threat to anyone.
So the question becomes, why should you be trusted? Your answer is because you should.
You should trust me only so far as you get to know me and learn about me. But I'm not an authority in your life, Andrew.
Thank you, Ben. Now we can move on. I completely agree, right, with that point, that I should only trust people after I get to know them, get to understand what they're about, start to have knowledge of them. Otherwise, I probably shouldn't be so quick to trust them, should I?
I don't think you should be super quick to trust people. That's why I asked you if we could talk on the phone and you could get to know me. But
so maybe maybe don't open the next conversation with somebody who literally talks to hundreds of people a week with, here's my phone number, call me. That might give them the wrong impression, Ben.
I gave you my phone number.
Yeah, that might give them the wrong impression, Ben.
What's the wrong impression?
The wrong impression is that maybe you have some nefarious purpose for why you would just ask random people to give you a call.
I told you what my purpose was. I wanted to come on this channel.
Yeah, but people lie. And since I don't know anything about you, I have no reason to believe you're not lying to me or that you're telling me the truth.
I don't know what to tell you. You don't have to believe that I am Ben Thorp, that I live in Rhode Island, that I have 6 kids.
Okay. Then I won't until demonstrated otherwise. And that seems totally fair. And that's exactly where trust comes in. Now, back to the topic of conspiracy.
So you start with the suspicion that I am a federal agent, that I am a Hollywood reporter or a producer, that I work for the CIA, and that I'm possibly a demonic.
Did I say any of those things?
No, I'm just saying that's where it went to in 4 days.
Did I say any of those things?
I don't think. Well, I don't. You're saying I start with.
Did
suspicion.
I say any of those things, Ben?
You said I will not trust you.
Did I say anything about you being a reporter or a federal agent or anything like that?
No, I don't think you think that's
well.
true.
Then that's
I don't think anybody thinks
that's called a straw man. So you only can attribute my positions to me. I didn't say any of those things to you.
Have I been hostile to you?
All I said, and that you
have I been hostile to you, Andrew?
All I said, and the only thing that you agreed with thus far, and we both can come to terms that this is true, is that I absolutely shouldn't trust you until I get to know you. Would you say that I've gotten to know you?
Okay, I would say that you should have come onto this stream with a little bit of respect for me, because you have no cause to be disrespectful of me, and I'm your elder, I believe, and I think you should have some respect.
Back up.
Sure.
How exactly have I been disrespectful to you?
You don't think you've exhibited an enormous amount of hostility towards me?
No, I'm just an aggressive debater, Ben. You're the one who demanded I debate with you, so here I am debating.
I didn't demand you did.
This is how I do it, Ben.
It's not how you do it. You're a very generous debater, but for some reason...
There's different styles. There's different styles that different people use.
Well, why don't you aggressively debate the topic?
Well, I just tried to steer us back to the topic. So if you'd like to get back on the topic of conspiracies, can you tell me what a conspiracy is?
Yeah, if you want to define the terms, I think conspiracy theories kind of are theories that there's a secret plan which explains, what's going on in the world?
You
Something
don't think
along
that
those
there are
lines.
secret plans that explain things that are going on in the world, Ben?
I think there are. There are sometimes. There have been conspiracy theories that were true. I'm just saying the problem with
Then they're not theories. They're conspiracy truths.
Yeah, that's why I said some.
Right. Okay. So which ones do you think are untrue, and why shouldn't we believe them?
Well, that's not about that. The topic was not which conspiracies theories are true. My point is, and I'm not trying to be hostile to you, Andrew. I'm just saying I think it's an important topic. I understand how, especially younger people, but really our whole world has gotten confused as to who we can trust. And I think we need to be able to trust authorities beyond ourselves, because if we make ourselves the Pope of our own, that we are we're God, and what I think about is true, we get lost, and it's a very dangerous cycle. I'm not saying that you're on that cycle. I'm not saying that Jim Bob is on that cycle. I just think I see stuff that it concerns me, and I think we should take a kind of step back and realize that I would say just badmouth the Queen of England on her death. I see it all over the internet. There's all these people saying all this stuff about her, and it just seems to me like that's a nihilistic path. I'm not saying you can't.
I mean, it sounds pretty patriotic to me. I don't know if you're aware of this, but are you aware that we fought a war against England for the independence of the United States, and that many people take that very seriously, take their patriotism very seriously,
right.
And they're not all that upset when the lineage of that sovereign passes away. They don't feel like that's maybe the thing that Americans, which is what we are, should really give two shits about. Do you really see a problem with that?
Fine, you can profane the name of the Queen of England all you want. No one's going to stop you. I just think it's ugly. And I think that, the founding fathers did have respect for the monarchs of England, although they broke away,
which is why they spread satire all over the place of them being like lynch mobbed and beaten to death and every other thing in between because they were fighting a war with them. But that aside, I'll concede this one point. It isn't bad taste when anybody dies to dance on their grave, right?
So I'll give it a day at least.
So I'll agree with that. But back to the topic at hand, which is authority, trusting authority.
Right.
Should I trust scientific authority?
Yeah, right. This is the problem. Some people say, well, trust the science, right? And I am science and these kind of things. And this has been a confusing thing over the last couple of years. I know we don't want to go there, but
I do want to go there, which is why I asked. So if you're saying, Andrew, we need to have authorities that we trust, not conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
I need to know which authorities I should be putting my faith in. Should it be the scientific community?
And let me say, there are conspiracies on the left and the right. I'm not just picking on the right, and in the middle. I believe I'm not picking on people on the right, and I'm not unsympathetic with them.
You're not really answering my question, man.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so are there scientific, is the scientific community often biased? Yes. There's politics that go into what you can and can't say as a scientist, right? That's true.
So should I trust scientific authority or not?
I think generally speaking, we trust experts. If I have a question about my house, I ask an engineer, and I would trust him until I see some reason not to.
Until you see some reason not to. And do you think that people have seen a lot of reason not to maybe trust these so-called authorities?
I do. I do. But all I'm saying is I don't think it's as simple as saying, well, I don't trust anyone, because that's kind of leaves you without any kind of.
Nobody's position is not to trust anyone.
I think it often does when there's a certain kind of conspiratorial.
Whose position is don't trust anyone ever with anything? I've never heard such a thing in my life.
Whose position is that? I would say I could give you an example of someone whose position that was, and
please do.
If I can pull it up, I can't.
Yeah, take your time, Ben.
I'm sorry. I just before. Okay, here it is. Just before I got on the stream here, I received a comment on a comment that I made about Queen Elizabeth, and it said, this person wrote, as a person who had military grade energy/mind control weapons used on me just for believing, quote, conspiracy theories, and was targeted for death, given COVID on purpose via a throat swab, gang stalked by citizens to drive me crazy for 5 years. No, we should not respect authority and stop believing conspiracies, because ironically, whether they were satanic murderers, they became that by what they did to me, and I'm assuming others, pretty sure I'm not the only one. I don't think the people or creatures who did what they did to me did it for free. I believe the government paid them, and is exactly what conspiracy theorists say they are, and worse, and people should listen to whistleblowers. Now, that's a person I would say who is mentally ill, and
I'm sorry, I didn't see anywhere in the entirety of that comment him saying not to trust anybody ever.
You think this is a person who has a reasonable amount of trust?
That's not what I said. What did I say?
I'm saying this is where
I need you to repeat back what I just said.
Creatures are attacking me.
Nope, stop. I need you to repeat back what I just said, Ben.
You said
repeat back what I just said about trust. What's my position here? I need you to tell me my own position here. Can you do that?
I can't remember it because you started.
You can't remember my position. Let me tell you my position one more time, Ben.
Sure, my position, but you could be respectful also.
My position. I'm sorry.
You can be a little bit
hurting your feelings?
Take a step back. Take a breath of fresh air.
Calm down, Karen. I'm trying to talk to you.
This is what I'm talking about. It's
trying to talk to you here.
You think it looks good for you to behave like this? Go ahead.
Can you repeat? If you can't repeat back my position, I'm going to tell you one more time what my position is. That I can't
repeat your position back to you, Andrew. That's correct.
Okay. So one more time, my position is I don't think that there's people who are running around saying not to trust anybody.
I think there are people saying that.
And so when I asked you to demonstrate that, you couldn't, though.
I gave you a demonstration of someone who's running around saying the government is attacking us and demons are attacking us and we shouldn't trust anyone.
Not to trust any. No, never. That never happened. And anywhere in the comment did it say not to trust anyone.
It said we can't trust the government because they're paying creatures to attack us
very
over
different.
5 years, and they're trying to murder us.
Listen. I need you to understand this.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyone is different than this group of people. Do you think it's fair? And you've already said that it's fair for me to say something like, maybe I don't trust scientism. You conceded and said, sure, that's true. Sure. Isn't that a totally different statement than don't trust anyone? Don't you think? Do you think that these two things are synonymous?
You're the one who was kind of saying I shouldn't trust you. You're the one who's filled with suspicion,
bro.
For some reason.
Do you agree that those are two totally different things?
And I don't think you should call me bro, but you can. But I don't think you should call me bro. I think it's disrespectful. That's what we're talking about.
Okay, well, I'm sorry you feel so disrespected, but please answer my question.
That's more snark. Why can't you just be respectful? You think you're winning the debate by being unbelievably hostile to me?
Are you going to answer my question, or are you just going to mule? Like, what do you want to do here?
Okay.
Like, all you've been doing is complaining and whining this entire time. Just answer the question.
Okay, tell me your question again.
Don't you think it's a different statement to say I don't trust this group of people versus I don't trust anybody anywhere?
Yes, those are two different statements.
So
yes.
When I give you my position and you conflate it by constantly saying, well, this guy said don't trust this group of people, that really doesn't
conflate it. You said you don't trust science. I said for good reason.
Stop, Ben. Okay? I'm trying to tell you again, you're conflating these two very different concepts, these two very different things. My position is not that it's not okay to not trust certain groups of people or not trust the government or not trust science. My position is just simply that I have not been hearing anybody run around saying that you shouldn't trust anybody ever. And that was your statement.
Okay. So this is a debate about whether I'm saying that you are saying that there are people running around saying no one should trust anyone ever. That's not the debate.
No,
my point is it's a matter of degree.
This is a debate where our positions need to be completely understood.
We agreed to our positions. You're arguing that we should not pursue conspiracy theories less and respect proper authority more.
Right.
I guess a way of saying that is you're saying we should.
So I'm asking who the proper authority is.
Who are the proper authorities?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great question. I actually made a little whiteboard. If I can get my daughter to bring it over, Grace. I believe what are the proper authorities? I think first and foremost, the authority is God. I think under God are religious and secular authorities, proper authorities, including the temporal powers as well as the spiritual power. In my case, as a Catholic, I believe that's the Pope. I think the hierarchy descends to the state level here in America, and there we have a bishop. I have it all written here. To the governor of a state and the local bishop, and then on a local level, the local priest and the mayor. And within a family, I believe that the father should be the authority, under him the mother, and beneath him the children. It's a hierarchical system. I believe this is just a traditional Catholic view of who you should trust. Now, are all of these people, except for God, fully trustworthy? No, they're human beings. You can question them, but I think when we make it just me making decisions for myself and distrusting all of these people, having a tendency to distrust all of these people, I think you run into the problem that you become lost in a kind of, if you don't trust anyone, then where are you getting your sources from, right? And it can get ugly. People running around in Connecticut demanding that the families of the children who died there exhume their kids' bodies so that they can prove to them that wasn't a hoax, is where we've lost touch with reality. I believe that's true. And you've got a camera there. And then, of course, if they did exhume the body, they would say, oh, that's a really fancy government op, right? Let's do a DNA test. But then they would have to take that to a lab and then go, oh, see, yeah, the lab is... You understand what I'm saying? There's a problem with a lack of trust. And I'm saying I understand that we're all in this position, but there's no simple solution of just saying, well, I'm going to do my own research. I'm going to go on a very, very narrow website of people who agree with these things and start asking really, questions that may lead to like a massive kind of mind confusion that leads to the type of, that comment that I received where someone is saying, they're out to get me. They've got drones. I don't know, right? That's a possibility, right?
That the whole explanation was so incoherent, I could barely keep up with it. I'm serious. I'm having a struggling to keep up with this.
That's why I made the whiteboard.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to pull that whiteboard up so that I can see it better. Okay. I'll try to be good faith because I don't want you to whine that I was being too mean or whatever.
It's okay.
Okay, in today's political climate,
the topic.
Okay, so we're going to start with God, right?
Right.
Then we're moving over to the Pope.
And can I just say one thing about God? There was a double rainbow over Buckingham Palace today. Now, what that means, I don't know, but it was remarkable.
I don't give a shit, Ben. I want to talk about the chart. So let's talk about the Pope.
Saying.
So we're moving over to the Pope. Why should I trust the Pope?
Why should you trust the Pope?
Yeah.
Well, I believe you're Orthodox, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I know that you don't trust the Pope, but you must trust.
Yeah, but why should I trust him? Should I trust the Pope?
Well, I'll tell you why I trust the Pope, because I believe that he's the successor of Peter.
That though, I don't care if you trust him. Should I trust him?
I think that you should trust your religious leader, and I think that.
Should I trust the Pope or not, Ben? Just answer the question, yes or no. Should I or shouldn't I?
Okay, I don't think I think in a way yes, in a way no.
Well, what the fuck does that mean? Should I trust him or not trust him, Ben?
Well, I'm not a subject of the Queen of England, right? And you pointed that out. But I think that so I would say, should I love the Queen of England? I think yes, but also I think, right? So I understand as an Orthodox, you're split from Rome, and I don't know how you be Orthodox and also trust the Pope. I understand this is a problem for your community.
Ben, I'm not asking about how my community operates. I'm not asking about what is going on in my community. I'm not asking about any of that. I'm asking a very simple question.
Sure.
Should I trust the Pope?
Yeah, I think so.
You think I should trust? Now, can you tell me why you think I should trust the Pope?
Because I think he is the successor of Peter, but I understand why you have trouble seeing that. Although I don't think the Orthodox deny that.
Okay.
He's the bishop of Rome.
Hang on. Just chill out for a second, man, so that we can try to make some progress here. Because I actually got an answer to the question, which was great. So you're saying that
Let's be friends, Andrew. Let's be friends.
So you're saying that I ought trust the Pope, right?
I think that yes.
Yes. Okay. So moving on, does that mean that I ought trust Catholic bishops?
Yeah, I do believe that the Catholic Church is the one true church. I don't think that means you should trust in an
Just
unlimited way.
I don't need the qualifiers. Just yes, I
Okay.
should trust the bishops.
Yes.
Okay, should I trust then your local priests?
Yes.
So does that mean that I should then trust your mother and father as well?
Well, you're not in my family.
Well,
You should trust your.
Wait a second.
You should trust your father.
Hang on. I'm looking at your chart. What's your chart start with?
I don't know what that means. Up here, God.
Yeah, what's it start with?
God.
And then Pope, then Bishop, then local priest, and then
Well, it's got a split, right?
And then your mother and father. But we should be able to read that backwards too, right? First trust your father and mother, then local priest and bishop, then Pope, then God, right?
I think you should trust your father.
Should I trust your father?
I mean, not especially. No, not any more than
But
anyone
I should
else.
trust your Pope.
It's not my Pope. It's your Pope. It's our Pope.
Well,
right?
no,
This
I mean
is the problem.
it's your Pope, right? And I ought.
Well,
trust
you have
him.
your own Pope.
So
No.
I mean, I'm just trying to go through your line of logic here. So let's move up the left side.
Well, let me go through your line of logic.
Okay, let's go through mine.
Don't you have a similar hierarchy?
Yeah, but I'm not telling you what you ought do.
You're not telling me what I ought do?
No.
But I'm asking you, do you or do you not trust religious authorities?
Do I
in
trust my
interpreting,
Do I
say, the
trust my
scripture?
own religious authorities?
Yeah, do
Many
you?
of them,
Good.
and many of them I don't trust.
Right. I mean, I'm not saying that we trust everyone here in an unlimited way. Of course, Andrew. Right?
Okay,
I
great.
mean,
So now moving up the left side of the list,
but if we get rid of, if you didn't have those authorities
Mhm.
to trust, and it was just
okay,
you,
just dude, chill
then it's a
out,
problem.
chill out. I just trying to walk through this so that I get the mindset down.
Okay.
So going up the left side, we're going to start with your mother and father again, and then we're going to move on to the mayor. I should trust the mayor.
I think you should. Yes, I believe that. Basically, if you're in a town, you should trust the mayor. I'm not saying. Well, okay. Yes. If the mayor says we're doing this, I would.
And then
Trust
that
him.
means your next logical leap up is I should trust the governor,
Yeah.
and then I should trust a king or a president after that.
Yeah. I think that we should try our best to, and if there is mistrust, work it out.
Okay, gotcha. So
I think the only. I think you
okay,
know this.
hang on. Now
Go ahead, go
I
ahead.
got your list. I've got your
All right,
list
yeah.
down. Can you tell me why I should start by trusting the mayor?
Because he would know the answers if there's a question that you have. He would be the first person who you would go to say, what's going on in my town? Now, he might lie, but normally speaking, you would say, okay, yeah, he has an explanation, and he would know because he's at meetings where things are discussed. Yeah, right. I
So
did
the
think-
first person you go to if you have a question about what's going on in your town is the mayor.
No, but I mean, if you look
Then
at
why
the
did you just
newspaper-
say that that's the first person you'd go to in the town if you wanted to know an answer to a question, Ben?
I mean, if you look in the newspaper and the mayor said this is what's happening or this is what happened, that would be the source. Yeah.
Okay.
So you
and
could
then, and then why should I trust the governor?
say for the same reasons.
Because if I had a question about my town,
Well, they have competency.
oh,
Right.
competency.
In other words, they have access to the people who would know the answers to these questions. Now, are they always trustworthy? Not necessarily, but I think your first impulse would be to say, if the governor said X, that person would know more than some guy, who lives next door who has a, some kind of other angle, like what's really going on here is whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, I do think. Yeah. Don't
Are
you
you-
think that? Don't
Well-
you think that?
Well, when we had lockdowns recently,
Yeah.
would you say that those lockdowns instilled a lot of faith and competency in the governor of Michigan?
I think that, yeah, like I think those things were handled poorly. But I also
what's the
sympathize.
answer? Do you think that I should have trusted her, or do you think maybe that I would have been served by having a lot more distrust for her? Which thing do you think would have been more likely here?
I think you have to balance, and I know it's difficult because we.
No, I'm asking you which thing you think would have served me and my family best? My skepticism
Do you live in Michigan?
Or blind trust? I do.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I'm in Michigan. Yeah, but I'm not speaking of blind trust. I would say the only figure here, and this is in very limited degree, is the Pope when he speaks infallibly. You have a kind of
Pedro, you got to put your phone on airplane mode or something. Somebody's phone keeps going.
That's not me.
Okay. I think it is me.
Yeah, someone's blowing you up. Anyway, back to where I was at with the line of inquiry. Okay, so I understand your basic argument here. So we'll get back to this now that I've seen your little whiteboard and things like this. Okay,
It's pretty big actually.
So
Grace,
let's start. Hang on. So let's
Grace.
start with number one. The number one thing on the list.
Sure.
Trust your mother and father. You should definitely do that, right?
I believe as an adult you should trust your father.
Yeah.
Not
What
your
if your
mother.
father's a conspiracy theorist?
Yeah, I think you have to work that out. I'm not
Well,
saying that
hang on. What does that? Wait. What does that mean? Work that out. You want me to trust in the authority?
But as a
of my
child,
own-
I
hang
think
on,
you should.
of my
Okay.
father. He's a conspiracy theorist,
Yeah.
that's the highest on your list of trust.
That's not the highest on my list of trust.
Well, you said I ought trust father, right? But what if father's?
I believe that's a
conspiracy
good
theorist?
starting point. Yes.
Yeah. So what if father's a conspiracy theorist? Should I ought not trust him then?
I think it depends. If it strikes you that the conspiracy theories are like what is that I read on my phone there, I think you would say, I'm having a problem trusting my father, and that's a real problem in a family.
So then, no, not really unconditional trust for father. Just question what father says as well, right?
But Andrew, you're being disingenuous. I've said that it's not an absolute blind trust. Trust doesn't mean if there's a breakdown of trust, we have to work through it, right? You're going to keep saying that I'm advocating for absolute blind trust of
No, I'm not
everybody
saying
in the
that.
hierarchy.
I just asked you a question, which is, if
I believe that's a
father,
straw man, right?
if father is on your list, well, you gave me the list. I'm operating off your list.
Okay.
Okay. You
Yeah,
start
sure.
with your mother and your
It's
father.
nice to see you smile. I'm
and
glad
you
we're
said,
a little bit.
You said start with father, right?
Yeah, I do think most people should look into their family dynamics. This is a Jesse Lee Peterson thing, right? You guys know who he is. That you should look into your family dynamics for the source of, a lot of times confusion that you mistrust.
So my dad's a conspiracy theorist, let's say,
Yeah,
and at
sure.
that point, I should start questioning him.
I think you should work it out, because if you lack trust in your father, I think you're going to lack trust in the world.
No, but I mean, you have to have the starting point is I trust him. So why wouldn't you trust the conspiracy theories he's telling you are true?
Right, because then the problem becomes the higher sources of authority contradict that. Maybe I'm not saying
wait. Hi, okay. Now we're getting somewhere. So
Yeah, you run into a
wait,
problem.
the mayor? You think the mayor is a higher form of authority than your father is?
My chart is, incomplete. So there's the Bible also.
What
right,
about your governor? Is your governor a higher form of authority than your father?
on certain things? Sure.
Like if the governor came in and was like, "Hey, little girl, you should come with me," and who cares what your old man says, right?
I mean, the governor has the force of the state police, right? So I mean, he has a
And
higher
people
level of authority.
should trust that, Ben?
I don't think you should. I know there was a situation with you that happened a few days ago, and the police showed up, and that's happened actually to me. I think you should trust.
No,
those
I don't
police.
think it's happened the same way it happened to me, Ben. But
No, I
that
don't.
aside,
I don't, but it was similar.
I don't really care. What's killing me here is that you.
But didn't you trust those authorities?
Anytime we go through your list or go through your chart, right? We
But
start
Andrew,
to get into ums and hums and maybes and
but Andrew,
probablys and all kinds of different shit.
Andrew, didn't you trust the people who showed up at your house instead of saying, I don't trust them?
Absolutely not.
Right.
Absolutely not. Are you fucking crazy? No,
You
I
didn't
didn't trust
trust them?
No. First thing I
Didn't
did
you
was
come out and say,
the first
like,
thing
I
I
don't want to do
did was
this?
log. Do you think that I wanted to walk outside with my hands up while a bunch of
No.
people were surrounding me with guns? You think I trusted them, Ben?
Yeah, more than you did.
Or do you think it was complete and total coercion, and that I would just as soon have never done that again, if ever?
Well,
Which
there are
do you think
people
is more likely.
there are people who get in situations in which they distrust the police, and they try to defend themselves because they think the police are out to murder them. And I think this is a conspiracy theory on the left, that police officers, get in there, put their uniform on, and seek to take certain groups and murder them. That is a conspiracy theory, and I think it's really unhealthy.
Wait, you think it's a conspiracy theory that
Yeah.
police might have an inclination in some instances to kill people?
I think the idea that police officers put their uniform on and seek to murder
that's a generalization.
particular.
I'm asking about something more specific.
I'm
Do
not
you
saying
agree
police
with me
officers
that do you agree
are
with me that
perfect.
there must at least be some police officers that do put on their uniform in the morning and would love nothing more than to kill somebody?
I don't think there are any such police officers.
Not a one.
I don't think so. These are mostly men. Sorry to offend anyone, but these are mostly men who care about these communities. I really do believe that.
So do
I've been
officers ever
held
go
at
to
gunpoint.
hang on,
Andrew.
do cops
I've
ever
been
go-
held at gunpoint.
Wait,
It's a
do
funny
cops
story.
So you don't think that cops go to jail for corruption? They don't go to jail for murder. They don't go to jail for any of these
do.
various. Well, what are they getting thrown in prison for if the intention is just to protect and serve at all
Yeah,
times?
I know everybody can become corrupt. I understand that.
Okay, so then there must be at least
corrupt.
be a few cops whose intention is to do you harm, right?
To do me harm.
To do somebody harm somewhere.
Well, I understand that if there's a corrupt police organization and you get in their way, it becomes like the mafia. I understand that, but I think by and
Well,
large,
I don't know. You're getting done telling me that we should have nothing but high trust and lick their fucking boots, Ben.
but you're Mr. Fallacy, right? You think that is a correct characterization of what I said, Andrew?
No,
That's
I'm
not.
paraphrasing.
No, you're not paraphrasing.
Yeah, that was
you're
called-
straw
what is it
manning,
called?
right,
What's the straw
Mr.
man?
Debate guy, right?
There's no straw man. I'm just paraphrasing.
You're paraphrasing, saying we should lick their boots.
That's literally what a paraphrase.
That's what I
is.
said. We should lick their boots,
That's
basically.
paraphrasing.
Because I think you
yeah.
should trust law enforcement in a dangerous situation over yourself taking
Why?
hand of the situation.
Why do you think that?
Why do I think you should generally trust law authority?
Yeah.
Because I think they've handled these situations. They've been in this situation, and I think that
You don't think that they exacerbate certain situations big time? Like I don't
think
know.
they're often
Let's
put in
name a
difficult
couple.
situations.
Do you think that the Branch Davidians should have trusted the ATF, Ben?
I think okay, that's perfect. I think the ATF was put in a very difficult position there. You cannot have, an armed group. I'm not saying what they did was right, but I don't think it's super clear that you can have an
That you can get a
apocalyptic-
camera, and have an entire convoy of cattle cars coming in for a massive photo op for a bust, fuck it up so badly that you end up burning to death hundreds of women and children.
It's a terrible tragedy. I don't think
Oh,
the
it's not.
agents.
It's more than a fucking tragedy, Ben. It was complete and total incompetence, and a bunch of apologists for it, like government bootlickers such as yourself, have been running around telling us that it's tragic, but it's the exception to the rule. No, it was stone cold fucking murder. They pumped the whole place full of gas, lit it on fire, and butchered women and children. And they did it all live. They did it live where we could see it.
Okay.
And
But then you are
hang on,
advocating.
Ben.
Go ahead.
Nobody
Yeah,
was
let's
held
go.
responsible, Ben. Nobody was held responsible. And you're like, pretty please, won't you have a little bit more high trust? Well, don't trust the conspiracy. By the way, the only reason we even have any information about what actually happened there was because of the conspiracy theorists, Ben.
Okay, what's the conspiracy?
The conspiracy was that the ATF was fired upon first, was simply defending themselves. They were trying to pump the place.
Wait a minute. This is the conspiracy theory, or this is the narrative?
Is the ATF's narrative.
Okay, so that's not the conspiracy theory.
No. Well, I have to tell you the narrative before I can tell you how
I'm not that
conspiracy
familiar.
theorists
Yeah.
cracked it.
Sure.
Okay, their narrative was that they had no choice. They filled it with some gas. One of them accidentally threw in an incendiary grenade. It was such a tragedy. But we can see from air cam footage now that there was agents who were propped sitting behind the actual compound, and they were murdering women and children as they were running out on fire.
And
The sniper who was
Gotcha.
present at Waco later was sent to Ruby Ridge, where he put a bullet through a little baby and her mom in the same shot. Same guy. Now,
Yeah.
who the fuck do you think figured all this out? You think that law enforcement came out and was like, well, let me give you the truth, guys? Or do you think that there was a ton of pressure from people who questioned the official narrative because they didn't trust the fucking government?
Well, I think that, I mean, I don't know the details of this situation, Andrew. I
Well,
don't
no
know.
shit. If you did, you might not be so inclined to just bootlick for law enforcement, Ben.
But what is the rest of the theory that the ATF seeks to murder people? What is
Well,
their
wait,
incentive to do
nobody said that they seek
There was
to
a
murder
government-
people. But what I am saying is
Well, what was
that
their motivation?
hang on, government agencies should not be trusted as high forms of authority to make autonomous decisions with no citizen oversight. And the only reason we have that citizen oversight is because we can't fucking trust them.
But you don't have oversight of every situation. Sometimes a police officer's in a situation, or an ATF, whatever, is in a situation that gets out of control, and they have to have the authority to try their best.
No,
And they may have
they're
failed.
just citizens in costumes, Ben. They're citizens in costumes who are given
They
training.
have authority. They have proper authority.
Yeah, but
And
you shouldn't trust their authority just because it's
that's
given
what
to
you're
them.
saying.
Yeah,
Right,
that's what
I don't
I'm
think
saying.
you can completely.
You shouldn't trust
their-
officers' authority just because it's given to them.
Okay,
It should
so,
be demonstrated.
So then you disagree with the Apostle Paul, who says we should pay respect to the temporal rulers, right?
How is
And
that?
he's
It's
including
not- wait.
Caligula. He's
That's
including
not-
the Emperor Caligula.
First of all, that's not disrespect to anybody.
because
It's
he says
common-
they were placed there
it's common
by
sense,
God.
bro.
By
Common-
God.
It's common sense. First of all, there's a difference between people who are put in authority over the swath and masses versus a police officer who's literally a constable. His job is to keep the peace.
Yeah.
Okay. During the 80s, all throughout the 1980s, it was a wild west in New York City where you had the situations that called for whistleblowers like Serpico because police officers were worse than the thugs that they were wrangling.
I know that
They were
happened.
running in and they were stealing and robbing people blind, murdering
that
them in
happened.
the streets, and generally doing horrific things.
Okay, but here, perfect. This is
Now, hang
perfect.
on. What changed all
No, no,
that?
no, 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 no,
Well,
no,
hang
no,
on.
no,
Stop.
no, no,
What
no. You
changed all that?
railroaded me the whole debate.
What
Give me a
changed
second.
all that,
No,
Dan?
wait a second. Wouldn't you admit that if the alternative is no police, that
not the
is a
alternative.
problem?
That's not the
No,
alternative.
I said if. If you say, well, let's get rid of the police, which some people
Depends on
have
what it was
said,
replaced with.
wouldn't you admit
Depends on
that
what it
even
was.
a corrupt police
No,
is a
depends on what
better
it's-
thing than
no.
no police?
No, it depends on what
Wouldn't
it's
you
replaced
would not
with.
admit that?
It depends on what it's replaced
Lawlessness
with.
is what you would say?
Police. Wait, police is a newer term. Newer term. We didn't operate off of the same criminal justice statutes that we do right now. For most of American history, we most certainly didn't operate with a standing police force that was paramilitary almost
Yeah.
ever in
No, I
human
know
history
that
anywhere.
The
So,
tactics, right?
so
Yeah, I
yes,
understand.
could you replace police officers with local constables and probably
Right.
come up with better results? It's possible.
Yeah, yeah, all right.
So I
understand.
don't. So yeah, no, I'm not. You could probably replace various police departments to great effect. Then that's one, but two.
Okay, but you need to have
But
someone
two-
with a gun, right, Andrew? You got to
No,
have someone
no,
with a
England
gun
has no-
who's
they don't have
entrusted
guns.
with this gun
No.
by the proper authority
No.
to keep the peace when
No.
things get violent.
England
of course,
has-
you think that
No, England has no guns. They have constables with sticks.
they have guns.
They have a station where they could possibly go get them if they need them, and they almost never use them.
So you would send police officers to the United States of America in an urban environment out there with a just a stick and say, "Good luck, guy."
You're
That's not
making
gonna work.
you're
It's a
making
different-
huge leaps.
It's a different culture.
You're making.
I think we should have a
huge
less.
leaps.
I think we should have a less gun intense culture. But I understand we have a problem with the Second Amendment.
Whoa! Wait! What?
Yeah.
Right, so
I
you want
think that-
to? Let me guess. You want mass gun control now, right? Then
I think those are very, very tricky things to do. But do I think that Randy Weaver
No-
should
no
have laid down-
AR-15s?
Wait. Do I think Randy Weaver should have laid down his arms? Yes, I do.
okay,
I do think he should have.
yeah, gotcha.
I think he should have said,
He should have
I am
walked
not
out.
the ruler of
Yeah,
this
he should have
place."
walked out. He should have gone on his knees. He should have licked their fucking boots. Even though he ended up winning because they were completely in the wrong, he ended up getting millions of dollars in
Okay, fine.
settlement
If you
money.
call that winning,
well,
then
no,
fine, he
hang on.
won.
It was a win for everybody in the United States. A win for everybody that one man changed the course of everything because he said no, he wasn't going to get on his knees like Mr. Thorp and lick the fucking boots of the authority that be.
I love to lick the boots, Andrew. You're right.
Well,
you
I
got
mean,
me.
what are we talking about? Now we're getting into, we need to do more disarmament of the public. Before that, it's put all your faith in the police, or at least
Andrew,
put an exorbitant amount of faith in the police. And then
Andrew,
before that, it's trust everyone in the government. These are absurdities.
you're
And when I bring up
exaggerating.
things,
This is
hang
straw
on.
manning.
And when I bring up the things like Waco and Ruby Ridge and what happened in those instances, you're just like, well, I'm not really that familiar with them. It's like, well, no wonder you have all this faith and trust.
Hey, I have had a lot of rough experiences with all levels of government and church authority, but I can say, like, let me hand you the rhetorical win. I actually believe that at this point in our society, we have a problem at the level of the rulers of our nation. I think we have two groups of people who think there are two different rightful rulers of our country. And I don't think we can resolve this problem. And I do think, here's where it gets crazy. I do think...
Man, I have to go up and grab myself some coffee because my wife's taking care of her sick grandma.
Are we having a
so
great
I
time?
have to actually get my own fucking coffee. So there's still time left in the debate. Gather
I'm having a great time.
Gather your incoherent thoughts. I'll be back to listen to them shortly.
All right, can I promote my channel for a little bit?
Yeah, you can do that, or maybe take a bathroom break yourself, and then I'll hold down the fort.
I'm good, but
You're good. Got the iron bladder. Good job. Yeah,
I cleaned everything out.
Yeah. So if I could take a second actually to talk to you.
Sure, Pedro.
Stay calm. You're in the middle of a debate. The heat is on. I would say don't take any of this personally, right?
No.
If I had to tell you what's really happening right now is, well, my grandpa said it best. Some people need to learn the hard way. Have you ever heard that saying?
I do. Yeah, I believe that's true. I'm one of those people.
Me too. I'm one of those people too. So right now, I think we're learning the hard way. But don't worry.
I don't really know here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting vetted, right? I get it.
Exactly. So none of this is perfect. None of this is personal. None of this is personal.
Believe me, I've encountered hostility. I've been married 20 years. It's familiar.
There you go. All right. So you want to?
I used to teach high school. 16-year-old boys. You want to see some hostility?
Right. You can resume what your thoughts are. Go for it.
Mine?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sure. So, Andrew, if we can redirect, and I think we could both say we're having a good time. Is that right? You came in a little hot. You can see that I have a point. And there's really, there's no need. I don't have a point.
No.
But you must admit that there are times, like, you don't tell your children to, like, there are people, right, who encounter a police officer and immediately go into hostility mode. And if they've got a gun, they feel like this is how we're going to do this, right? You would not advise your children do that.
Yeah, there's people who've done that, sure.
Right. And a lot of times this mode that they go into relies on a kind of way of thinking that they've been taught about, that police officers wake up in the morning, put on their uniform, and want to kill certain people just for the color of their skin. Right? Isn't that where that comes from?
For some people, maybe.
So I'm saying that theory is not a good theory. And people who have this theory need to work that out with the police. And I'm not saying that the police are perfect, but you can't have a society in which large numbers of people have this view of the police that, we fire at them first. And I mean, you do have to have authority.
Large number of people don't have that belief.
I think a lot of people.
Well, how many? How many do you think is a lot? Do you think even 1% of the 300 million people that live in the United States have that view?
Yeah, I think a lot of people have that view. I think
that 1%.
I finish my point. I think there are a small number of people who would put that into action by drawing a gun on a police officer.
So not very many then.
But I like, Andrew, you're saying I'm a boot-licking fanatical authoritarian, right? Okay, fine. But I'm saying if a police officer commands a situation, I do think that people in the vicinity should not create a problem, and you work it out in court or you work it out later. And I do think, generally speaking, you should trust someone in that situation. I'll give you an example. I was trying to put in a car seat when my kids were little, and those, if I can swear, those fucking car seats are really hard to put in. And I was getting very frustrated. And my wife, who's a wonderful person, was getting frustrated with me because I was trying to get it super tight because I care about my kids. And I got exasperated, and I exited the car and just threw the keys on the ground. I said, fuck this, right? And a police officer just happened to be there right at that second. And he told me, whoa, what's going on, buddy? And he commanded the situation, okay? So I wasn't doing anything wrong, but I understand that he was saying like something funny is going on here. And I immediately say, like, officer, it's just a misunderstanding. He took my wife aside because he suspected that I was being, crazy, which it seemed like I was being, and it was all diffused. I don't see that's what we should do, right? I mean, there's proper authority. It's understandable. And I don't know that I should give him a bunch of shit and tell him that I got rights and blah, blah, blah. I was on a public street,
So let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Let's say you're in that situation. The cop comes over because, he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't know what's going on and whatnot.
Right.
And he grabs your wife, and just out of pure surprise, she's just purely surprised. She lashes out and she shoves him. Now she's assaulted a police officer. He takes her to the ground.
A police officer just grabs my wife. I mean, what?
Yeah.
Scenario?
He says, "Hey, ma'am," and he just grabs her shoulder, right, trying to get her attention.
And I see what you're saying.
She assaults him.
Okay.
Okay, so now he's on her, and he's got a partner, and she's screaming. She doesn't even hardly know what's going on.
Right.
Would you just stand there and wait and sort it out in court?
Absolutely.
While they're kicking, what if they're kicking the shit out of her?
What am I going to do?
I guess you would just stand there and take it, Ben. That's what you would do.
I would, yeah.
No, you wouldn't, Ben. Oh.
No, well, no.
I would
Ben, I believe you.
violently.
Ben, unlike Pedro.
I would intervene violently with men with guns. No,
I
would not.
absolutely believe
But this is
that
a
you would
fantasy
just
that you
stand
have.
there while they beat the holy shit out of your wife right in front of you. And I'm sure that you would console her with, "Don't worry, honey, because we're going to go to court."
There are situations in which you don't have control. I think this is a fantasy. I don't think that would happen. Why would
What do you mean you don't think it would happen?
My wife
You
weighs
just
like
got-
120
you just
pounds.
got
She's
done
pretty
telling
easy
me
to-
that there's all kinds of people who are going to react violently towards police officers who have low trust. They might even do it. They might even do it just by accident. They don't even mean to be being violent. And now a woman's on the ground getting the shit kicked out of her.
Okay,
her
all right, you're the
husband's
tough
standing
guy,
there.
right? You're the tough guy. What would you do? What would you do? Tough guy.
Well, they're doing something that's unlawful, and I would react in the proper way for anybody who is.
And what is that
unlawfully-
way, Andrew?
It depends on the situation. I'll leave it to your imagination. But if
my fantasies,
if people were assaulting my wife or my children, regardless of the costume that they wore, I wouldn't just stand there, Ben.
well, I mean, you're talking about a scenario where cops are beating the living shit out of a 120-pound woman.
Yeah, it's happened.
For no
Ben.
reason.
You want to see videos? It's happened many times, Ben.
Okay.
They've grabbed little women because they don't have the right face covering on, haven't they, Ben? Taken them right to the ground, drug them right out of private businesses, haven't they? While their husbands, guys like you, just stood there and took
Cucks,
it.
right?
They
Cucks
just
who love
stood
it.
there and they took it, Ben.
Andrew, you should be a little more respectful. We're talking, right? I understand. I'm a cuck,
I do
right?
think that coming
because I'm not a
into
tough
this-
guy like you, right?
I do think coming into this conversation, you're right. Maybe I should have been a little bit more respectful. But at this point, after that, there's no
So how about a little
planet
respect
Earth
now?
I should have
How about a little
inch of
respect
respect
now?
for you at all. Not any respect for you after hearing that. None.
Right. You don't respect me. I get
Now,
it.
Ben,
You probably have issues
let me ask
with
you
your
another
father,
question. If
and
you don't
I'm
mind.
playing the role of your father.
Yeah, if you don't
for
mind. Are you married, Ben?
Yeah.
Are you? Do you live with your wife?
I've had some difficulties with my wife.
Oh, you have. Yeah. You're not. Are you separated?
This is a respectful line of questioning.
Well, I think so. Yeah, I think that maybe
I believe that
maybe there's reasons that these problems exist. Maybe she doesn't think you're a very good protector because if she was getting assaulted, you just stand there and wait for the court to sort it out.
I've been in dangerous situations with my family.
Maybe you're
Andrew.
just that type of guy, Dan. Like women can
Sure,
smell
buddy.
that, bro.
Go ahead, Andrew. Yep, you're winning points by being this way. Sure, go ahead.
Yeah.
Be disrespectful.
These are the things you have said.
If your audience thinks this is a nice way to approach someone, then you win, buddy.
Listen, man.
Why don't you just say,
the last
you've
thing
got
you
a smaller
said, there's
penis
no-
than me.
There's no
You've got a
reason to
smaller
respect you
penis
anymore,
than me.
Ben.
That's what this argument is.
What's that? I didn't hear that.
We're doing this thing. I'm the tough guy and you're not a tough guy, right? Because I'm reasonable.
We're having a debate.
Well, you never gave me your scenario of what you're going to do. You said, well, think about it, buddy.
I would in some way intervene other than allowing the courts to wait for the courts to decide if my wife was being brutally assaulted by anybody, regardless of what their official rank in anything was.
Okay. Well,
and I think that most husbands would find themselves face down on the ground next to their wives if they loved them. That's just my personal opinion on this.
So if a mugger came up to you, or whatever we call them these days, someone came up to you with a gun and said, do as I say, or you're going to be, in trouble. You wouldn't do as they say?
I might.
I might too. I might not. But I mean, you're not in control of the situation unless you have a weapon.
But
you have to make a prudential judgment.
What if the mugger came up to you and your wife and you weren't, you're not in control? Now you don't even have the courts to appeal to. And he would said, well, you just watch while I pin her down and rape her. Would you just stand there then?
No.
Then you would do something?
Yes.
Because why? What's the difference in scenario? The costume that he's wearing?
Oh, I mean, I'm sorry. Now we're adding to your fantasy, which I think is a little bit of a fantasy, that the police officer are taking my wife, not only beating the crap out of her, but also raping her. That's what we're going.
I didn't ask you any. No, I'm saying.
Well, you said what's the difference in the scenario? Just
even if he was just beating the shit. Okay, even if he's just beating the shit out of her, would you intervene then?
Obviously, at a certain point. But I just can't even imagine this scenario. I don't know what
you can't imagine a scenario where a mugger.
No. I mean, a police officer.
But I'm asking specifically, what's the difference between a mugger who's beating the shit out of your wife in front of you and police officers doing it?
Well, there's a big difference. They're the legitimate authority. They're the legitimate authority.
And this is why we don't trust what you call legitimate authority.
You don't trust any authority?
Because we're not going to let men with costumes beat the shit out of our wives, Ben, just because they're wearing a different costume than the mugger.
So what are you going to do? You're going to take out a gun and have a gun battle with a police officer?
You keep putting words in my mouth. I'm just saying that there's no. I don't think most men. I don't think that most men would just take it, Ben. That's all I'm saying.
So you're saying there's no difference between a police officer and a criminal on the streets? That you would not give that police officer any more respect? Is that what you're saying?
No. Didn't say that at all.
Well, I mean, you said what's the difference, and I said I said what's the difference
in this. I said what's the difference in the situation if the mugger's beating the shit out of her versus the police officer? At that point, they're both criminals, Ben.
I understand that.
They're both engaging in unlawful criminal activity. Don't you have a right at that point and a duty to actually do something instead of just stand there?
But your assumption is going to be that you trust a person in authority initially.
No, that's your assumption. Okay, not my assumption.
Oh, really? You don't trust an authority? If a police officer comes up to you and says, you're going to need to move it on, you what do? Escalate the situation?
Maybe. It depends on what the situation is.
Well, then you've never really been in situations, Andrew, because you should de-escalate the situation. Even with the criminal, you should de-escalate the situation. Don't try to be a tough guy. Don't try to be a tough guy. It
depends on the situation.
I understand at a certain point, but the first thing you do with someone who's violent is you say, look, I got no problem with you. We just want to move on, right? Wouldn't you agree with that? I know.
Let me ask you a question. Do you believe in evolution?
I do not believe in evolution.
Okay.
And I'd love to go on your show and talk about why.
But do you believe in the fight or flight response?
But let me just say, I believe in microevolution.
Do you believe in the fight or flight response?
Yeah, I do believe we have that.
Okay. So what's the fight response? When does that kick in for you?
You want to, yeah. There are times when you fight. I'm fighting you, right? It's kicking in, right, Andrew?
No, you're just having a verbal debate with me. There's no fight here.
There's a little bit of a fight because you're being aggressive and disrespectful, and I'm putting you in your place rhetorically.
Well, man, you're doing a great job. But that aside, I'm asking you. I am doing a great job. Are you saying that using an overt amount of force and aggression doesn't defuse situations?
It can.
Okay, then. So when I say
it can escalate.
So when I say it's situational, you agree with me. Thank you.
I agree. Right.
Good.
But I'm saying you should initially respect authority. And of course, Andrew, you do. when a police officer stops you, you do not hit the gas with your family in the car.
Well, wait.
You pull over and you very carefully
wait, aren't I being coerced?
Registration.
Wait, I'm being
this
coerced.
idea of being a tough guy. This is the problem.
Wait,
you
though,
have
I'm
a
being
kind
coerced.
of
What are
gun
you talking
first
about?
mentality, but that's not a good situation. I've been in situations. You've been in situations. Everyone here has been in situations where someone's driving dangerously.
Ben,
right?
Ben,
Wait. And your instinct is to hit them back, and you've got to put the brakes on. Right? We're not tough guys.
Well, that's not my instinct.
As
but
fathers,
again,
it is your instinct.
This has nothing to do. You keep saying tough guy. It's bizarre. I'm talking
You
about
came
how
on here like a tough
I
guy.
literally am talking about how I believe most people respond in these situations. Most will respond in these situations. Now, if we want to be logical about this, which we should be, if the bright flashing lights weren't behind me, signaling for me to pull over, there's a consequence if I don't, right?
Yeah.
So I'm being coerced, right?
Yes, you are being coerced.
So what's going on is that there's a threat that something will happen. So what I'm doing is obeying authority, not respecting it.
Well, I mean, okay. Well, if you want to make that distinction.
Well, I mean, it's a distinction with merit. You can obey because you're being coerced and have zero respect, right, Ben?
You don't respect a police officer for the job he does?
Not simply just because he's a police officer, he hasn't earned my respect yet.
Oh, every police officer has to personally earn your respect?
If he wants me to respect him.
Really? Oh,
yeah,
that's
every
a very
human being on
view.
every human being on planet Earth has to earn my respect if they want to be respected, and vice versa.
That's right. That's it. That's exactly the problem. Every human being on Earth has to personally earn your respect. Mm-hmm. That's the problem, Andrew. That is not true. It's not possible to have a society in which people say that and live by it. That's not true.
Okay,
you
give
should
me an example of
why legitimate authorities. And you say you're a Christian.
Tell me again why that's not true.
Because Paul, okay, as a Christian, don't you recognize that the Apostle Paul said you should respect authority?
So when we're talking about
whether he didn't say, hey, unless you're Andrew, and then he needs to earn the respect.
Calm down. Listen, when we're talking about
why so hostile?
When we're talking about respect in the commons,
I'm winning this debate, and you know it. I've got better lighting.
Yeah, when you're talking about respect in the commons, that's different than talking about personal respect. You understand the difference there?
Well, you said you don't respect a police officer per se, unless he earns your respect.
Right. Don't respect him just because he has a uniform on.
You don't respect the badge?
No, not just because it exists.
Okay. Do you respect a successor of Peter in the Orthodox Church? Do you have respect for the priest as the bishop's whatever, do
I have respect for that office? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. So why don't you have respect for the secular authorities?
Because they're secular.
Okay. But you understand that part of Christianity is that we respect the secular authorities, and the Orthodox Church has too much
that we obey.
You respect
the authorities.
No, Andrew. No, that's not the teaching. You should ask your priest.
So let me ask you
yourself.
a question. Let me ask you a question. You just respect everybody?
I'm winning.
You just respect everybody or no?
I love my chat. Everyone's supporting me. Thank you.
Yeah, all three of them. So
I know, because you didn't promote this debate. You didn't promote it. You wouldn't let me when I was going to, you gave me the link 3 minutes before I came on. So, you didn't promote it.
Yeah. What do you mean?
And you tried to kill it, but you did come on. I give you credit for that.
What do you mean I tried to kill it?
You didn't promote it. You wouldn't let me come on and do a welcome to the Crucible thing so people could get to know me. You didn't go on Bob's stream and say there's going to be a great debate tonight. You've tried to drive traffic away from your own business.
Ben, help me out here. Did I send you a message saying that I'm an extremely busy person?
You did. I have been annoying, I will admit.
Yeah. Okay. So, and did I tell you that I was making an exception tonight just for you, taking time out of my day just to do this thing?
And I think you've been glad you did, right? We were having a good conversation, right? It's
I
interesting.
So far, it's been pretty annoying for me, but
yeah. But I mean, in terms of the channel, I appeal to Pedro. It's fun. It's an interesting debate. It's hot, right? You come on strong, I push you back. It's fun. Not hot like sexy. I'm just saying.
It always definitely is watching Andrew debate. It's fun. It's very fun for us.
No, I've just been
I'm doing a
watching.
good job, aren't I?
No, you're just making a fool out of yourself, and I'm enjoying playing
Come
with
on,
my
give
food.
me the chat. Give me some love. Give
Yeah,
me some love. I'm doing a great job.
In
up here.
fact,
You have been
everybody
entertaining
here
as well,
in this,
Ben.
everybody
Thank
here in
you,
this chat,
yes.
make sure you go
I
over.
love this guy.
Make sure you go over to Ben's chat and tell him just how great he's doing. Make sure
I
that you do that.
I need to boost myself because you put me down and you said that my wife, you get into stuff, Andrew. I wouldn't get into your wife. I mean, I wouldn't get into stuff about your wife, nor would I get into your wife.
I'm not. Wait a second. If you make the information public, right, meaning you tell people that this is your situation, they're going to draw their own conclusions based on your actions, right?
Yeah, sure. You're talking about the Thorpocalypse over at Jim Bob's channel.
Yeah. So here's
I
the
tried
thing.
to be
Hang on, stop. Just let me get a fucking word in edgewise. I've been the second half of the debate. I've been trying to let you just yap. But let me get a word in.
I respect your authority. See, I respect.
Let me get a word in here. Okay.
You guys are in charge.
You said when you said these words to me that if your wife was having the shit kicked out of her, you would just let that happen and try to sort it out later in the courts, right? I would initially trust. So you had all the chance in the world to earn my respect, and that statement, it killed all of that chance. It's all gone.
Yeah,
now.
but you would do the same thing. You would concede the situation to police officers, assuming they're going to be reasonable. Then at some point, right, you might say, like, what the hell is going on here? You would do the same thing, tough guy. You would.
I would, huh?
Of course you would.
How do you know I haven't already
If you're
reacted?
pulled over
How do you know
with
I
your
haven't
children in the car and
a
your
different
wife in the car, you're not going for the gun. You're not doing that because you're not an idiot.
You won't stick with the actual hypothetical. You keep making like these kind of non-analogous.
Your hypothetical is crazy. Police officers don't do that.
So we're talking. Yes, they do that. I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example in Michigan of a woman just not wearing the proper face gear and getting the shit kicked out of her by police officers.
Yeah, well, usually there's more to it.
Do you think that it was okay that bystanders just kind of cruised by and watched it happen? Don't you think that that's the same exact mentality that leads to bystanders allowing women to get thrown in the trunks of cars while they just stand there and stare at it?
Generally speaking, okay, I'll go there, right? Generally speaking, if a police officer is handling a situation, I would not intervene unless the police officer seemed like he was shot or something like that and needed to, generally I would leave that to the police officers. I wouldn't go and create a terrible situation for that police officer. I would not. Nor would you, Andrew.
Do you have like no duty to stop people who are doing bad things just because they're wearing a certain costume?
How can I judge the situation? See,
because you have judgment.
But if I see a police officer hitting someone, male or female,
your wife.
Okay. There I have judgment, but I'm saying you said bystander.
And what did you say you would do with your judgment? You would fucking just stand there and take it.
So if you see a police officer handling a situation with violence, you would stop and you would take control of the situation. You wouldn't do no such thing. And that doesn't mean you're not a masculine man. It just means that
I'm not talking about Ben. I'm not talking about every situation.
Bystanders. You said
literally
bystanders.
Talking about a singular situation. You keep moving around to everything that I'm not talking about.
No, you brought up bystanders, and I'm talking about bystanders.
No.
The problem here is that you
stop.
Okay.
When I brought up bystanders,
con respecto.
When I brought up bystanders, I was talking about bystanders witnessing a kidnapping and doing nothing.
No, you were talking about police brutality, which I think does exist.
Do you want to roll back the tape? Because I'll show you. If that's what you want to do. But what I was giving an example of was a case that happened where a woman was kidnapped in broad daylight, stuffed into a trunk while bystanders just watched.
I thought you were talking about police who did.
Well, I know, because you're not understanding the words that are coming out of my mouth. You go all over the place. You won't just focus on what's being said. I'd like you to engage realistically with this hypothetical without moving the goalpost. Let's not move the goalpost.
Okay. This happened outside of my house when I used to live in Providence. There are situations. There was a bar that was near my house, and there was a brawl, and it got out of control. Someone intervened and got stabbed to death, and I think that's a great thing to do. But a lot of times, it's imprudent You don't know what's going on, and it's I don't know. Is the person a martyr?
Because that's what Jesus calls you to do. Stand there and do the thing that's the most prudent when horrific things are going on around you.
We are
right?
always called to do the most prudent thing. That's correct.
Okay,
Prudence
so
always should guide us. But you don't understand.
So wait, so you should be prudent while somebody's being stabbed to death in front of you because you're worried you might get the knife too.
Do you know what the word prudence means?
I'm going to tell you something. Let me tell you a story.
Yeah, great.
There's a guy I know who I think literally is a horrible guy. His name is Big Tech. Real fucking scumbag. Okay. I don't even believe that guy for a second would be walking by while somebody was getting knifed and just be like, well, it's not prudent for me to get involved because I'm afraid I'll get the knife. I don't think that he would allow a woman to get stuffed into a trunk of a car. I don't think that he would allow his wife to just get beaten by police officers while he stood there. I hate this fucking guy. And I don't believe that he would do that, Ben.
Okay. I mean, let's do a real scenario. If you're living on a border town in Mexico where there are cartels that basically run the town and they do things, right? And the federales don't know what to do, right? Would you intervene in that situation? And they do wrong things. I'm saying, are you going to, I really think the local populace can't do anything.
Again,
right?
It depends on the situation.
Yes, we exercise prudence,
which is why I'm being specific with situations.
Okay.
And you can see the more specific we get, the more the contrast and divide within our worldviews becomes, because
a lot of times
from your worldview, you're really doing
Catholicism,
kind of the most weak-kneed thing you can do, which is I'll get you later after you've already broken her face or stabbed that guy or this or that. If you want to know why society's actually fucked up and low trust, it's because they can't trust men like you to intervene when horrific things are happening.
Is Christ your Lord? Is Jesus Christ your Lord?
Yes.
Did he say, do not return? Did he say, turn the other cheek? Did he say, those who live by the sword die by the sword?
Okay, so you're not.
Those were commands, not suggestions to you.
You're not living by the sword by intervening if somebody's being horribly abused or assaulted. That's not living by the sword.
Many look.
Can you concede that's not living by the sword, man?
I'm not saying I'm a tough guy, right? And the apostles also had a sword with them.
Okay, but can you concede that that's not living by the sword?
I think that you're a person who likes to think he's a tougher guy than he is.
I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm asking you a specific question.
I've been in dangerous situations. A lot can when a violent situation is going on.
It can't be dangerous for you. You just fucking
gang
stand
on
there.
gang.
You just stand there. How can you have ever been in a dangerous situation? If anything dangerous is going on, Ben Thorp is in the corner just standing there going, oh shit, what do I do?
I've intervened in situations.
Holy shit.
I've intervened in situations that were dangerous.
You have you? Tell me that kind of story.
I went to court against the head mafia family in Providence, and no one would go to court with me in the neighborhood because they were all tremendously afraid of this family. I stood in court, and I mean, it was a zoning issue. It was no big deal, and I don't think they were going to kill my family. But there was a part of me that said, well.
So you didn't really think that it was particularly dangerous? He says, I didn't really think it was very dangerous, but I intervened. Like what? Okay. Come on, dude. Come on.
I mean, if I thought it was really, really dangerous, I wouldn't have. I would not go to court against the Sinaloa cartel if I was a Mexican. I wouldn't go to court with them. Nor would you.
You're right. Forget the conspiracy theorists. Forget that crowd. Forget the men who will intervene. Let's just trust authority. We'll hope to God that the authority will get there in time to save our lives, Ben, because you sure as fuck aren't going to.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not going to, and you're not going to. We need to build trust of the proper authorities and respect them, even though they're not perfect, rather than descend into anarchy. That's correct.
Would you, if a child was drowning, would you jump in to save the child who was drowning?
That's a great example. Not always, because a lot of times when you save someone who's drowned, not a child, but like an adult, a lot of times when you jump in, you're going to drown too.
Child, Ben. Focus on what I'm asking, not on what you decide to make the question. Would you jump in if a child was drowning to save the child?
I think I would, but it would depend on the circumstances.
The current's really strong. You think your success is probably just intuitively like going to only be 5%.
I would choose my children. Yeah, I would say I can't. They can't afford to be fatherless. Yeah, I would do that, and you would too.
And then you get to walk over to the mom who's screaming and crying and hysterical, and you're like, "Look, I was gonna do it, but fuck your kids, my kids. See, and I'm a great Christian. My name is Ben. I'm a Christian. Here's a church I go to. Make sure you look me up. I'm a great guy. Really, I am.
If you had a 5% chance of survival,
yes,
you would jump in.
Yes.
And 95%
yes,
that your wife would have no
if it was
husband.
A child, I would. Yes, and even my greatest enemy would. Even my enemies would do that, Ben. Even the people I hate would do that.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what we would do in that circumstance, but I think if I
we do know what we would do in that circumstance. I know what I would do in that circumstance.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's real easy to be a tough guy on the internet.
It's not being a tough guy.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's actually the opposite. It's having empathy and emotion. It's understanding that when a child is screaming and drowning, that the intuition should not be calculated at that point.
Can I give you an example? I'll give you an example. Just the other day, like a couple of weeks ago, this happened. I was at the beach with my kids. We live in a small town in Rhode Island that's has a little beach. So as we're leaving, I'm leaving with my kids. And we had noticed there was this couple there. The guy was huge and buff and kind of oiled up with one of those little kind of Speedos on. And this woman was with him who was kind of out of it. And she drifted over. Are we talking
about buff, oiled up men now, Ben?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that excite you?
It sounds like it excited you. That's all, bro.
It seems like you're the one who was excited.
Just don't. We've had men take their shirt off on this program.
I know.
I don't want you to be one of those.
I did that. Go to my channel and see how I did that.
Anyway,
I drove that kid to do that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
man.
So as we're leaving, but you could tell that this woman and this man had some kind of relationship, right? As we were leaving, they were having words, and this guy checked her so she fell down, right? And everyone was
what?
He physically hit her so that she fell backwards and started screaming. Okay, but then she got up, but I could see that, this was not a situation to intervene with, but I did go over there.
Well, Ben, almost no situation is a situation for Ben to intervene with.
Well, yes, I will give you actually the next word, Ben. Ben, could you tie this back to the original? Sorry, the original center of the debate.
Sure.
This is kind of the scenarios. Why I enjoy the stories are kind of taking off us in the
Sure.
the tangents, so kind of bring us back.
Yes, thank you. So, anyways, the woman then followed him to his car, and then the police arrested them later. And this is a situation where it's domestic violence, yes, but these people are doing something in which they're both complicit. Now, how does it relate? I actually don't even think the police should have intervened in that situation. Some people do this kind of stuff, and I do believe it's wrong to do that in front of women and children. But yes, a woman was hurt in front of me, and I did not intervene on her behalf. And I think she, was doing this, right? I mean, so I'm saying, I don't think that I have the authority. If we want to bring it back, I think we would largely say this should be handled by the police. And even I think I saw them pull them over, and they handcuffed the guy. But it's one of these things. They probably know these people. I don't know them, but I had enough clues to say this situation is more complicated than, you know what I mean? Like she was being something with him. Of course, a man should never hit a woman. Well, I don't think a man should never hit a woman, but a man shouldn't hit a woman in public like that. It's sort of indecent. But I do think the police are the proper authorities to handle that situation. She wasn't in danger of her death, right? I mean, he was just pushed her away and she fell backwards, and she was on something, at least I imagine she was.
I literally don't care.
Well, I'm saying, wouldn't you sort of give that to the police instead of saying,
I don't know.
Andrew,
I don't know.
adjudicate this?
I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know what the individual situation is, but I do know what Ben Thorp's general rules for life are, which are to limit your risk to the point of absurdity, even if there's any chance that Ben Thorpe himself might get hurt, might get harmed, might in some way lose something in the engagement. So here's what I suffer from. It's a terrible affliction that I think most men that I know suffer from. It's called guilt. And so what happens if you don't do a thing in a situation where you could have done a thing?
Yeah, I know.
You tend to feel guilty, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And why do you feel guilt? What is that guilt telling you?
Sometimes a situation happens that you.
But what is the guilt telling you, Ben?
It might be telling. You're saying your emotions are.
What is your guilt telling you? Why do you feel guilty?
Guilt as an emotion tells you that you feel like you've done something wrong.
Yeah, you feel like you didn't do something correctly.
Right.
You did something wrong.
Right.
Would you feel an overwhelming amount of guilt that you didn't jump in to save the kid?
I think I would wrestle with guilt. That's right.
Right. Well, then you must be doing something wrong, Ben.
That's not true. Just because you have an emotion doesn't mean that the emotion is correct. I think any man or woman who accidentally runs over
God, do you think that God gave you guilt because he didn't want you to understand? Right? That's your own internal self, your soul telling you.
See, this
Ben,
is the problem.
You should have jumped in, Ben. Why did you just let it float away while she was screaming hysterically, Ben?
Right. We've all been in situations like that. Sometimes you feel like, well, could I have done something? Right. I've been in situations like that. And you do wrestle with that. And you're saying, was I a coward? Was I, watching out for myself? So that's nice. That's a nice little insult. I just think, Andrew, it's called life.
It's cowardice, Ben. I'm sorry.
It's cowardice. Okay. I've intervened in situations in which I later thought, like, I shouldn't have intervened. It was a situation.
Are we sure? Because so far we have, men smacking.
But let's go with this. Okay.
And everything else in between while Ben just sits there and looks.
Okay, Andrew, your penis is much larger than my.
I think that the reason you trust authority so much is because you have to trust authority. You have to.
You do too.
You don't feel like you're capable of handling any situation that might slightly be risky or dangerous.
I don't think I'm capable of handling any situation at all.
I don't either, Ben. I agree with you.
I handle many situations that are dangerous. I have in the past. But I mean, we all have this problem. Now, what I would like to point out, as Pedro rightly said, let's get away from like, I've got a bigger dick than you, right? We can be a little more mature than that.
You're the one who keeps bringing up dicks and men who are oiled up and shit. I haven't brought any of that up.
And we actually only have about 3 seconds left, gentlemen. So we're going to be moving into closing statements at this time.
Oh, okay.
So
let's do this again.
Ben?
I love it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, Ben. You can definitely come back on some other time for a future debate.
Yes.
Yeah. So please, Ben, you opened first, so now you have to close first, and you'll get 7 minutes for a closing statement. I have the timer on the side. Start whenever you're ready.
Okay. You got it, Chris? 7 minutes. Grace. Not paying attention. Okay, so yeah, I started out with my point that we should pursue conspiracy theories less, not never, and respect proper authority more. And I think that our world is at a point now where what I talked about in my opening statement, this tendency to distrust and only trust myself, and then even I'm going to start mistrusting myself, has broken our world and caused us all to have problems with paranoia. I think in our nation, we have a problem that we have two groups of people who really don't talk to each other and see things in diametrically opposed terms. I think Biden's red speech for one group of people was a call to arms. We must destroy the enemy. For another group of people was we need to defend ourselves because they're coming to get us. And I think that is where our world has come to in discourse. And so I actually think that situations like this where I can talk with Andrew, and I know he gets a little upset and gets a little excited by some of the homoerotic references, but that these are really important things to do, and we've got to work this out. We can't just descend into little groups that are just awaiting the apocalypse. And I would suggest, I meant to give this to Andrew before, I would suggest that, I don't know if I said this, but that our problem could be helped by the new sovereign of England, King Charles III. He could maybe intervene as an ex-colony and try to help us work something out, because I think we all know that we're on the brink of civil war. And I also think in Ukraine and Russia that those are Christian people who do not want to be slaughtering each other, but they need to be able to talk to each other. And I think someone like the Pope could try to sit those people down and work it out. And I think that it's very difficult to do so, and we can be cynical and we can say no one trusts anyone, but the only alternative we have is anarchy, and I don't think that we want to go there. And I'd love to keep talking personally. I actually really think, let me just tell you one theory about the internet that I have. I believe much like the Roman Empire was built, we would say providentially, right? The Romans didn't know it, was built so that the gospel could spread quickly to the ends of the empire. Not really the ends of the earth, but I think the internet has the same role to play. I think the internet is going to allow us to talk to each other as on all levels of authority and as individuals. And I think we're too cynical about the possibilities of doing that. I just went on his live stream a few days ago. That community will not in any way, except one guy, Posh, who's a terrific guy, but he'll probably be outed now. So sorry, but like this community just said, like, we are suspicious of this person. And I think that leaked, unfortunately, into my interactions with Andrew. I think Andrew's a terrific guy. I really love a lot of stuff he's doing. I think he's a wonderful young man. And I did not come on this to get into a personal thing with him. I just think he has trouble trusting me, and that's fine. We had I had a great time. I come from a generation, I think, where men could spar a little more and take it. It was a rough Irish neighborhood. I'm not Irish, but I love my experience. I'll let it go at that. Thanks so much to all of you, and come to my channel, Ben Thorp, aka Abel.
We appreciate that closing statement, sir. Andrew, you're up.
So let me try to make this as abundantly clear as I possibly can. The contrast and difference that I was able to demonstrate and pull out of Ben tonight should be pretty obvious to everybody. The reason that he needs to have some type of close authority in charge at all times and needs everybody around him to respect that authority and absolutely just cherishes authority to the point where he doesn't even want you to really question it, right? Is because fundamentally at his core, Mr. Thorp has shown us that he suffers from what's called a yellow streak. When you have a yellow spine, when you've got a bad back that way, you tend to allow other people to take care of your problems for you, take care of your issues for you, take care of things on your behalf because you're afraid to do those things. You're afraid. He's so afraid that his own interjection will make a situation worse that he can't even trust himself to interject even when it's necessary. Even his own anecdotes prove this. This is the difference between a bootlicker, okay, and somebody who understands that, yes, there has to be order in society. Yes, things can't be chaos. Yes, there does have to be authorities that are in a society and to some degree that we can adhere to and understand, okay? But there's also something called spontaneous order. And the reason that we have a low trust society does not exist because the lack of bootlickers that are out there. It exists because of the abundance of them. The abundance of people who refuse to do the right thing even when everybody's telling them not to, even when everybody's telling them to stay in their lane, stay in your place, stay where you fucking belong, don't intervene, you're just going to make it worse. Those are the men who you need more than anything. That's the real backbone. Okay, now I once and have said many times on this program, we deserve better enemies. Okay, but after having engaged with Ben Thorp, I realized that the current crop of enemies that I have, I'd rather have them because they at least aren't yellow. They at least have some guts and they have a little bit of a fucking spine and a little bit of backbone behind them, for God's sakes. If I asked any of them those questions that I asked you, even my enemies would be like, yeah, I'm not going to let a fucking child drown, even if the percentile is minimal, because I'd have to live with the guilt for the rest of my life. I'd have to go home and look at my wife and always think, could she ever trust me to jump in after my own kid? Or is she going to wonder if I'm going to come home and say, well, the kid died, honey, because, it would have killed both of us probably. That's just insane to me. And that's really not how men operate inside of a strong society. And that's the real difference, is that critical thinking and understanding that, no, not every conspiracy is correct. Of course not. But understanding, too, that you have to go against the grain. You have to question authority. You have to be the person that can be counted on. You have to be the person that can intervene even when nobody else will be. That's what we're missing. We need more of yous, Ben, like we need holes in the head, brother. That's my closing.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen, for that closing statement. And at this time, ladies and gentlemen, we do things a little bit here on the Crucible.
I'm going to grab some coffee real quick. Sorry, Pedro.
No worries. Do your thing. At this point in time, I, as the moderator who took a couple notes, get the opportunity to interact with some of the debaters and go over some things that were going in my head. After that, we will go over to some super chats and audience, which are full of audience's questions. We got a lot of super chats, so tonight we can only do super chats. I'm sorry, we're not going to be taking on the general questions. So, Ben, my first question: you brought up the Apostle Paul a lot, right?
Yes.
Can you turn, if you have it with you, I can just read it to you, your Bible to 1 Corinthians.
I trust you.
Okay, perfect. I'll just read it out. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 6, starting at verse 9 for anybody who wants to follow along. Or do you not know that the unrighteous will not inherit the kingdom of God? Do not be deceived. Neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor homosexuals, nor thieves, nor the covetous, nor the drunkards, nor revelers, nor will inherit the kingdom of God. Do you agree with that statement in full, Ben?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Now, that was to make a bedrock, because really, if we're going to say we're all Christians, that's the foundation for what we all believe, and that is the Apostle Paul talking. I want you to sit back and just look at this for a second.
I would like to ask you a very clear, pointed question. After the faith, do you believe that sodomy should be considered a grave sin?
I do not know what the Senator brings. We now listen to the people of God, what they express. I start getting in reports, the Director General of the Senate. And so reading all of that, in September we made the first draft for the continental meetings which will take place. I think that, first of all, I would never consider sexuality separated from love.
The Bible has taught, and has taught for 2,000 years, that sodomy is a sin, an abomination to Christ.
But the Bible also said we should stone the woman who is adulteress. The Bible has said that the sun turns around the earth. So the Bible have to give an interpretation to the
So the fundamental scriptural teaching is sin.
This is not a theological. No. There is.
I think we get the point.
Sure. You want me to react?
Muted, Pedro.
Well, let's think about this carefully. Do we trust that man, Ben, after what we read, what the Apostle Paul said about sexual immorality, but we hear the cardinal condoning sodomy? Do we trust him?
Yeah, maybe I should have nuanced when I said I agree with that. I agree that those are sins. I don't think we're in the position, and our Lord commands us not to judge individual sinners, right? But that's a list of sin, not a list of people. And I think the discussion there was about, maybe talk differently. A grave sin is one in which you have grave matter, freedom, and knowledge. So you can have those sexual sins are grave matter. But there are many sexual sins that are not necessarily we would call mortal sins. That's what he was saying. Is it always a mortal sin to commit this act? And I just think I'm speaking as a Catholic, not as a person. I would say it is not always a mortal sin to commit even an act which is grave matter, which sexuality and life are the number are definitely in that category. I mean, I think in our day and age, There are sexual sins committed all the time because our culture is saturated in pornography and confusion. And I don't think all these people are damned to hell by those acts.
Okay, so you would trust that cardinal that was appointed by the Pope?
I don't know that cardinal, but yes, I think he was being put in a trap, and I think that he was trying to nuance. I don't think I heard him anywhere say that sodomy is fine.
Okay, understood. Are you familiar at all with Acts chapter 17?
Not offhand, but I trust you. Whatever.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. So there's a point in time where the Apostle Paul, which I think you would think his authority is like right there below Jesus because it's the Apostle Paul,
He's
correct?
an apostle. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
He is giving the gospel to a group of people called the Bereans. And the Bereans, instead of just taking what Paul is telling them, which is the gospel, by the way, as spoon-fed milk, they're just receiving it. They test what he says by the scriptures day and night. And at the end, Paul exalts them as the most honorable. Do you think in that moment that was a blind trust that they were exercising, or was it, no, I'm sorry, sir, we're going to have to examine what you're telling us?
Absolutely, but they examined it against another authority. I assume these were Jews.
Yes.
Right. So their authority, proper authority, was what we would call the Old Testament, the Hebrew Scriptures, and so they asked, yeah, does this match up? And Paul, I think, explained how it matched up. Paul got it wrong at first, of course, as well, right? I mean, until he was knocked off his horse, he got
Correct.
it wrong. And I'm not the authority of Paul we hold because we know he's an apostle. They didn't know who he was. They didn't realize he was an apostle. He didn't have to strangers. He didn't have that authority.
Gotcha. And then, Andrew, I had a question for you, actually. There was only one moment where I was in kind of some slight disagreement with you here, honestly. You gave him the scenario where he's interacting with the authorities and they are accosting your wife, right?
Yeah.
If I were to intervene in that situation, I think, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, I would be escalating the situation very much more highly. I wouldn't just be ending up face down alongside my wife on the ground. Do you think that's a smart thing to do, or do you think you should just get involved with as much, like, maybe I'm looking into the situation too deep?
Well, I don't believe you. I don't believe that if cops were kicking the shit out of your wife in front of you, that you could be restrained. I don't even think it's possible.
Correct. So,
well, then what are you even talking about? Then what's the question even? You know,
the question. Well, the question is,
who cares even if it would escalate it? You wouldn't be able to help yourself, would you?
Oh no. I'm saying I would probably escalate. I would be honest and candid with you and say I would escalate to deadly force because these are armed men coming into my house.
No, you didn't even just say that. That's absurd. Just an absurd hypothetical. You would never do that, right? We would never do that, Pedro.
Yeah, I would never.
You would never do that. So, but you probably couldn't restrain yourself from doing something, right?
Yes, it would go. I would think I would go crazy if someone put their hands on Leslie.
Yeah, I would. Well, yeah. I would think that would be the natural reaction from a devoted, loving husband seeing their wife being harmed, regardless of the costume that the person was wearing who was harming them, right? Can you hear them?
Yeah. So Ben, now that we're outside of the debate, why would you actually stand by and do nothing? Oh, you can't hear me?
Yeah, he's got no audio.
Ah, okay.
Put in the private chat that he probably disconnected his ears.
Okay.
Is it coming through there?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Is that Grace? Can you hear me, Grace?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, ask your dad, can he explain why he would not intervene?
No, we need to get his audio sorted out.
Oh, okay. Can you tell him his audio, he might have disconnected his head jack?
Yeah, I'm looking at the headphone jack right now.
Disconnect it and reconnect it?
It's been moved.
Yep, reconnected.
Okay, can you...
I'm back. I'm here. Yep.
Oh, you hear it?
You can hear us now?
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Grace.
She exists.
I exist, everybody.
They said she was me. She exists.
Right.
Check
Can
her
you
out
hear
on my
us now?
YouTube channel. I can hear you.
Can you hear us? Oh, you can hear us now. Now, fine.
Yeah, it just cut out. I don't know why.
Yeah. So last question. Why would you ever not like? I need to get into your mind. What makes you say this thing is happening to my wife in front of me? I'm not going to intervene.
You're talking to me? Would I not
Yes.
intervene?
Why? Give us the why.
You're muted.
You muted yourself, Ben. All right. I think we're going to move on into audience questions, I think.
Yeah, we got a lot of super chats to get through.
Exactly. All right. First one coming from Well Emmanuel for $100 from Mexico. So 100 pesos, actually. So like 50 cents or something like that.
26 cents. No, we
something stupid.
No. They're actually decent sized super chats. Don't get me wrong. We just like to make fun of Well Emmanuel because he's our friend. So it's,
we appreciate all the help you give us, sir.
We appreciate all of the 26 cents super chats you send, brother. We do.
Arrogance disguises humility. Respect proper authority. Assumes you know which one is proper. He may not even realize his position is more relativistic than he thinks. I think that one's to you, Ben. Do you want to interact with that at all?
That is a problem because we have to decide, like in the Christian world, who is the proper authority? Is it the Protestants? Is it the Eastern Orthodox? Is it the Roman Catholics? Is it the Muslims? If we go outside, right? This is a problem, and we are left to seek, and we only have our minds to do so and our consciences, and it's a difficult problem. It's why our churches, all Christians should unite. Jesus told us to. He prayed that we would be one, and it's a problem. Yes, it's difficult, but you should be careful and try to seek as honestly as you can. But it's a problem.
All right. From 2 Acre and a Bear, $5. Thank you so much for your donation, sir. What are your thoughts on Jay Dyer? To Ben.
Yeah, I've watched a little bit of Jay Dyer. I actually have become friends with Posh Redneck, who's been on this channel. Wonderful Serbian, I think I'm allowed to say Serb guy. And he's introduced me to a lot of the criticisms of the Catholic Church from the Orthodox. I think a lot of them are legitimate. I don't think it cannot be overcome. I think we have a lot to gain, and we've been arrogant.
Well, you should ask him about ecumenism, Ben.
Yeah, I know he's hostile. He's hostile to the church, but
Well, no, you should ask him about ecumenism. Your belief that all Christians should just unite under one flag. I mean, right. Under the Orthodox flag, but no, anything else that's ecumenism.
Right. We need to talk, and the patriarchs.
You see Pedro down there? I like Pedro down there a whole hell of a lot more than I like you, and I don't sit with Pedro, and we don't pray together. We don't do these things.
Do you think it would be great if our children only had one united church to encounter instead of this whole,
Well, they already do. It's called orthodoxy. You can anytime you can come over. It's always funny when we talk about uniting. Why don't you come over here and unite with us then?
Well, who's the bishop of Rome, Andrew? Who's the successor of Peter?
It's not you.
No, it's not me.
It's not.
All right, let's move forward. 2.2 Acres and a Bear for another $5. Reno should be a deep into life sentence for premeditated mass murder. I guess he's referencing an event there.
Wait, say it again.
Oh, let me get it back. Reno should be deep into a life sentence for premeditated mass murder.
He's talking about Janet Reno.
Okay, there we go. He didn't have the first name in there.
She's a complete fucking bitch and deserves to be behind bars for the rest of her fucking life for what
I wouldn't
she
say
did.
stuff like that. I wouldn't say stuff like that.
That she deserves to be behind bars?
Well,
if dirty progressives can sit on here for 2 fucking years and say that Trump deserves to be behind bars every breath that they take, I think I can say it about Janet Reno, and it's okay.
Yeah, okay.
And also, I can say she's a stupid bitch. I'm going to say both of those things together. So she's a stupid bitch, and she deserves to be behind bars.
Okay. You can say that. I just don't think you should. You're a Christian. You should respect authority.
She's
You
not
can
in
be
authority.
you
She's
can
not
be
in.
critical.
Hang on, she's not in authority.
She was. That's why you're.
She's
talking
not
about
in authority right now.
it. I know.
Yeah, good. So now we can put her behind bars and not respect her authority. Is that okay, Ben?
Well, no one has earned your. Everyone has to independently earn your personal respect, right? You don't.
Only if they want me to respect them. Inside the Commons, they'll get respect, meaning that if they say good morning, I'll say good morning back.
I've been in positions of authority. It's not always easy to please everybody, and
But Ben, I showed you that clip. But Ben, I showed you that clip.
Yep.
I know and you answered you would not trust that cardinal.
no, I didn't say that.
Oh wait, you said you would trust the cardinal.
I said he was. I don't know the man personally. I don't know the context, but I think he was articulating a church teaching, and he was being put in a trap by an angry Catholic.
But listen to what Andrew just told you. You just said I don't know him, right? Andrew's saying I don't know him. Therefore, I'm not giving them any weight in the realm of I trust
Reno,
them.
right? We're talking about Reno. I don't know.
No.
I'm sorry.
We'll just get through the super.
I'm an old man.
That's okay. Joe R for $33. Thank you for your donation, sir. Trust is built, not given. Do you lock your boot? Do you lock your doors, Benny?
See, disrespect. I love it. Yeah, it depends on the area I'm in.
Got it.
Wait, so
I don't demand that every police department in every town that I live in personally earn my respect. Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't really have to, Ben, because you can lock your doors, right? You can lock your doors and try to keep yourself safe at night. You're taking proactive measures outside of authority to make sure that you're secure because you don't have total faith that authority can do that for you. Isn't that amazing?
I lock my doors sometimes, and sometimes I leave my doors open depending on the neighborhood and whether I trust my neighbors.
Well, right. Oh, thank you, Ben. Thank you. So the trust has to be earned. And if they've earned the trust, you don't lock the doors. And if they haven't earned the trust, you lock the doors.
I would say generally it's a good idea to lock your doors, yeah. But I don't demand everyone in my neighborhood to prove to me that they're worthy of my trust. I just make a general
Then you
assessment.
wouldn't lock your doors, Ben. You wouldn't lock your
and
doors,
you don't
bro.
either, Andrew. You don't either.
Well, Emmanuel,
that's my point, Ben.
Are we having a great time? I'm having a great time.
That's my point.
You're having a good time. I like to see you laugh. You came on here, you're angry, and you called me a bunch of names. You got to take out your daddy issues on me, and now you can see I'm a good man.
I don't recall calling you any names. What names did I call you?
Well, there was some disrespect.
You can't think of one, though? Not even one?
Well, I'll leave it to the chat to say whether you were respectful of me.
Well, no,
Chat,
you said I called you. Well, wait, you said I called
was a
you
lot of
names. What are
hostility.
the names?
A lot of
What
hostility.
names did I call you?
You insulted my wife. You insulted me. You said I wasn't a good protector of my family. You said that I am a bootlicker, that I'm a coward, that I'm the type of person that
That's
you
true.
respect
That is one
less
name
than
I did call you.
even
I did call
your-
you a bootlicker.
You said that I was someone who you despise more than even your worst enemy. And I love it,
Yeah,
buddy.
that
I love it.
meant
We're
that
gonna be great
mentality,
friends.
Yeah.
Let's take over
True.
the internet with love. With love. Let's talk. Older men need to talk with younger men like you who have gotten, angry. And
you keep saying, but sir, you keep saying that, but Andrew has like 5 children. You do know that, right?
Well, is he as old as me? He's 50 years old.
No, I don't need to be. I don't need to be.
See, he
50
could-
years old.
But you're,
me sir.
Look,
but you-
called me sir.
brother.
Well,
I've been
disrespectful.
I've been adulting for a long time, brother. I'm good. I'm all
exactly.
set.
You keep.
I'm not saying I'm his father. I have any authority.
No,
over
no,
him.
no, Ben. I'm not saying that at all. But you keep kind of doing this thing where I catch it kind of, and I don't know if it's subliminal, if you're doing it on purpose, but you kind of put him at a lower rank of maturity than yourself. At one point,
Mr. Thorp, yeah, and I think I should call him Andrew. I think that's generally how men about more than about 15 years apart.
You know what?
Should act.
Hang on. I completely agree with this point. Go fuck yourself, Mr. Thorpe.
See, there we go.
Got it. Well, Emmanuel, for
I love
another
Andrew. I
100
love Pedro.
pesos.
You guys are great. I love being here. Let's do it again.
Ben, you are one of the most confusing characters I've ever had on the show. I'm not gonna lie.
But I'm a nice person, right? Am I a nice person?
Ben, you are
Like
definitely
a nice
Ben. People have said I'm too nice. No, I think you're too nice. I think.
Thank you.
at
You're
one
the
point-
nicest guy.
Pedro,
You're the nicest guy I've
Pedro,
ever
stop needling
seen in
Mr.
my
Thorpe.
life.
Stop needling Mr. Thorpe. We got a lot of super chats to go
Yeah.
through.
I
and I'm
always say,
Yeah.
Pedro is such a wonderful
Gotcha.
person. Pedro, you should be our next president. You're such a wonderful person. So
I would never
sweet.
sell my soul to that seat. No.
We'll get the internet behind you.
There are men far greater with more fortitude than me that need that seat. Well, Emmanuel,
We need
for another
people like
100
you.
pesos, conspiracy theories can lead us to a spiral out of reality. And so can real conspiracies. Instead of vague trust graph models, promote critical thinking and discernment. I think that's a good thing to go. Joe R. for another $33. Oh no, that's a bad one. I can't read that. I'm sorry, Joe. But thank you for the
If it's towards
$33.
me, read it.
Then
If
rephrase
it's
it.
towards, if it's an insult towards me, read it.
You can take it. Okay. Okay. Does Benny? Okay. Yeah. Does Benny sit while he pees?
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you for your honest answer, sir. David for $5. Would Ben respect Hitler because he was the authority at that time and place if he lived in that community?
That's
Yes.
a great question.
Yes.
You know, Pope Pius XII, I believe, was the Pope at the time. And he signed what I think is called the Munich Concordat.
Just say
Concordat.
yes, Ben. Just say yes.
No, no, Ben. You see, Ben.
Yes.
This is another problem. Questions that are easy, like when Andrew threw you
No
the
problem.
would I protect my wife scenario? You say yes. Would I obey Hitler? You say no. Just say
I would
no,
respect-
Ben. This is
I
not
would re-
hard.
I would, if I would have voted against Hitler, but he at first when he was the whatever chancellor of Germany, he did have that authority.
Right. So yes, right, Ben.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think we would have tried to work something out as a populace.
Yeah, you would have worked something out with Hitler, Ben.
Yeah,
He would have had you over for tea, and some like vegan sandwiches or something, right? You would have just worked it out. You would have avoided all of World War II if you were there, Ben.
Well, I don't know. I mean, if I was a soldier in Hitler's army and I had the opportunity,
Which most
to
certainly you
sabotage-
would have been if the authority had drafted you.
right?
Yeah, I mean,
But would I have sabotaged my own side, my own men, and killed my own men? I think you could make the argument for that. I think a lot of people didn't.
There were
have a
people
full
who doing. There
grasp
were
of-
people who were doing that, sir. There
I
were
think-
people who were infiltrating the structure of
very
the
brave
third-
men.
Yeah,
and they had a small percentage of actually getting out of it alive too. Maybe 2, 3, 4%.
I don't think everyone in the army.
It was
the
very
German
small,
army-
very small. The resistance that had a chance of succeeding. It was a very small chance of success, but they did it anyway. We
and
call
then,
those. You know what we call those men? We call them heroes.
and then
If
Ben,
I was-
Ben,
if I was-
you need to
can I say one-
understand the. Yeah, go for it.
If I was on the Enola Gay, right, the plane that was sent to destroy Hiroshima, I think I would have had an obligation to sabotage that plane and not let humanity do that. As well as if I was a German firebombing the cities in Germany, you cannot kill women and children. Cannot do it. I mean, sometimes if it's a military target.
Well,
but
you
a
would let
civilian-
it happen though. You just take it to the world court afterwards, after the war, and be like, "Hey, they did these bad things."
No, I think you would be obliged to disobey those orders. But of course, they would just find someone else to do it. But I think you'd
Yeah.
be in
So
a
I mean,
tricky
what's even the
situation.
point then? Like, you might as well just do it. They're just gonna find someone else anyway, right?
Well, I mean, I do think the people on that mission could say it really wasn't our choice. Some of them felt guilty.
You mean
others
they
did
would
not.
say we were only following orders, Ben?
Right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
From legitimate authority.
They were only following orders, Ben.
Right. Right.
No, not right, Ben. Come on, man.
Does
The debate,
anybody agree
dude.
with me?
No,
Is this a debate or are you? I mean, you're supposed to be moderating, Pedro, and you're
no. The mod hat's off. The debate is
Oh.
over. It's in the closing statements were made.
I'm
Now
happy. I'm happy.
now we're back in. We're out of the matrix. We're back in reality, and you can say you could, sir, take a note here. There are
love
good
that
moments
spirit.
in a debate after it's over where you say, I think while we were in that moment, I had a little bit of a heat behind me, but now I think I was wrong. No, I would
Sure,
actually defend
yeah,
my
yeah.
wife. No,
Yeah.
I'm not going to support Hitler. You know, yes, I dive in the pool
No,
for the
he's
child.
He's gonna do all of those things. We got to get through the super chats. Pedro.
I'm not there yet.
Gotcha.
I'm not there yet, but I do agree that I could say
Ben's
something.
only
which I would
following
reflect
orders
on.
from the FBI right now. Leave him alone, Pedro.
This is
Dude.
Langley. You guys never been here?
Yo, that's a
I'm
question, Andrew.
underground, 1,000
Andrew,
feet underground.
Did that not run through your mind, Andrew, for a hot minute? Like, this guy has to be a spook.
CIA. No, they got it. It's great here. You
Yeah.
get all the food you want. You know,
All right.
psyop.
Yeah, we can tell, Ben.
Right. I glow in the dark. Right.
No, we can tell you get all.
I
the
take
food
that
you
as a
want. Go ahead,
compliment.
Pedro. Let's
Yeah.
get. Come on, we
Joe,
gotta get through the supers.
Yeah, okay.
Who could
Joe
be this
R.
much of a genius?
Joe R.
Who
for
could be?
$99.
Just you,
In the words
just
of
you, Ben. Just
in
you.
the
Hello,
words
Andrew.
of my forefathers, fold him like a chair. Sir, for your $99 donation, we very much appreciate it, Joe R. Maddie / Digital Minefield for $5. I thought Matt Slick was the worst debater of all time, but Ben has easily claimed that title. This is an absolutely abysmal performance.
You know you love it.
You take it on the chin very well, Ben.
At least I'm one of the something-ist. The worst I'll take. Best or worst, just not boring in the middle.
Gotcha.
Nope, you're not going to take that for sure.
2.2 acres and a bear. What's your ideal level of gin control, Ben?
Gen control? I don't know what that term means.
Like,
Gin is
what's
an
your-
alcohol.
Gin?
Gin, yes.
Gin. How much do I drink? I don't know. I don't drink much. I had cigarettes and coffee, which is terrible because I don't sleep. I'm on very little sleep. I'm so excited to be here. You know, I get nervous.
Gotcha.
No booze.
Georgie Porgy for $5. Ben Thorp might be the most unlikable and annoying guest you've had on the Crucible. Incredible.
Woo! I'm a super villain. I'm not a troll though.
Super villain makes implications about things that you're not, for sure.
Okay. I'm a jerk.
No.
Can you grant me that?
No,
I'm
not
annoying?
even a jerk. No,
I'm very annoying.
I can grant you that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, Jor R for another $9.11 this time. Being particular, I appreciate it, sir. If a new authority arises and overtakes the old authority but is still around, who do you trust and obey, Ben?
Right, that's a difficulty in times of war. You know, I think it's called the Great Schism in the Western Church, where you had a pope, and his election was dicey, and then another pope was elected, and then they got together and elected a third pope, and none of them were able to resolve who was the pope. So a council was called, and they installed a fourth pope and told the other guys to cut it out. But it's tricky. It's tricky when you're in a situation like that. I think America in that situation. It's very tricky. How are we going to do this?
All right, Jim Bob, if you can hear me, just send that super chat in once again using @the_Crucible, and I'll catch it so that I can put it up for you. Next one coming from May. Oh, I found it. Made by Jim Bob, $5. Ben, would you have trusted Jimmy Savile with your kids, as he was a dear friend of your late queen?
I mean, I can't know in the circumstances. The guy, when you look at it, he looks creepy. It looks like, how would anyone?
How about Prince
do
Andrew?
this? Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know Prince Andrew. I'm not in that position, but I do think, you know, I don't know. Would I have gone to Epstein Island? I don't think. I think I would. I think I, like Donald Trump, would have said there's something wrong here. But I don't think that everyone who went to Epstein Island was, you know, I think some people were there for conferences and didn't know the situation. But maybe they did. I don't know.
Then
It's
get off
crazy
and
what-
say, hey, what's that big building over there that looks like a house of worship? And he was like, oh, you know, that's where we do like satanic rituals and have ritualistic sex with little girls, right? Like,
Yeah, if you want to talk about conspiracy theories, that I think everyone agrees Epstein's suicide, that doesn't wash. I don't think even the mainstream people would say that.
well, that's not really a conspiracy theory, then, is it? It's conspiracy mainstream, meaning it's not a theory.
Well, it's a theory. I mean, no one has any proof, but
I mean, we have a lot of evidence, don't we?
Yeah, but there's no definitive proof. We never have proof, Andrew. We never have proof. We're human beings. We're limited. We might get things wrong.
2.2 acres and a bear. Thank you for your $5 donation. Gun control is all it says. Maybe we can adapt this into a question for Ben.
Yeah,
Ben,
well, let me answer first with my
Yeah.
stance on guns. You should have a lot of them, as many of them as you want, whatever type that you want, whenever you want them, for no good particular reason other than the fact that you like them.
I don't think that's good. Well, I mean, my friend said the other day he was walking into McDonald's and this guy open carrying.
My
and,
God. He couldn't even enjoy his cheeseburger.
if we're all open carrying all the time,
How are we ever going to trust each other, though?
Right.
Don't we have to trust people who are carrying guns? Don't we want that high trust society?
I don't want my kids to be in a society in which everyone is open carrying.
Why?
guns.
If you trust them.
well,
Well, that's
Maybe-
not what this is about.
what if you look at it from...
I mean, I think that is what this is about. So,
Okay, sure.
I have a shooting range on my property. It's downright looked like, there's been 40 people here shooting at one time, right?
Okay, sure.
Whole
I don't
house
know.
filled to the brim with guns all over the place. Yeah, you can barely get through the living room without tripping over one. What was the
Okay.
problem with that?
Well, if everyone's armed to the teeth, it can flare up very quickly. Would you like to see the Black Lives Matter people like armed to the teeth?
Yeah, I don't remember seeing Black Lives Matter people armed to the teeth shooting at. I
Right.
saw a bunch of armed people run those maniacs out multiple times. That's what I saw.
I think it's
I
a
saw
problem.
when they went to the wrong places where they shouldn't have been, that men with AR-15s were like, "Get the fuck out of here," and they left. Wasn't that amazing? That
Yeah.
suddenly you had some type of equalizer against a massive mob of people who wanted to kill you for the color
It's-
of your skin.
It's a dangerous situation. I understand their desire to defend themselves, but it's a dangerous situation, right?
It would have
think
been a
that's-
way more dangerous situation if they weren't armed and could have defended themselves.
maybe, but you can make the argument that
Then make
they
it.
escalated.
Then
it.
make it.
Well, you make the argument that if you bring a weapon and point it at people, you're escalating the
Against a
situation.
mob that's there to hurt you? You think
I
that
don't
a
think it
weapon-
was there to
Do you think
hurt
that
them
having a
in
weapon?
particular.
Do you think that Kyle Rittenhouse did anything wrong? Do you think that Rittenhouse was in the wrong because he defended himself against an armed mob of lunatics?
I think what happened there was self-defense. Whether
That's
I think
right.
it was prudent for him to go there with an AR-15, I think is a good question. I think his heart was in the right place.
Well, they should have just
I-
trusted him, and there wouldn't have been a problem.
he was not the proper authority, but the proper authority wasn't doing their job. I
Oh,
think
the
that's
proper
where the problem
authority
was.
wasn't doing their job. So who was the
Right.
proper authority? I guess it was Might Makes Right at that point, wasn't it?
The police, and you had an anarchic situation.
There was
I
no
think.
police.
Well, I think they were there, but they
Were the proper authority
back.
wasn't doing its proper authority job,
agree.
was it?
I
So
agree.
then who's
Yep.
it left to, Ben?
Right, then you have a situation of anarchy, and I understand people who want to defend their property in that situation. I do.
Want to defend their own lives, want to defend, so they can't just rely on authority, can they? And
Right.
even when you have authority who's in place that you say we're supposed to rely on, they fail miserably often, and then you're left with
Oh.
what? You're left running through the streets for your life with an AR-15 and hoping to God you make it home. That's what you're left with.
Well, I wouldn't characterize that as American life right now, but I understand that if this type of thinking takes over left and right, that is what we're all going to.
That was what American life was like in major metropolitan areas just 2 years ago.
Yes, I understand. Those were tough situations. I understand the LA riots, that the Koreans looked like the next target and they defended themselves. But it can get dicey if you escalate violence with violence, but they didn't. They were defending themselves. I think it's a good option. I've been in situations, I'm 6'8". I've been in situations where I have to pretend I can fight and I'm a tough guy to make someone think. But if it blew up, I wouldn't be able to do it. I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover.
Ben,
believe-
what? Yeah. Ben,
I'm not sure what my point is.
Ben, what if you take it up from a different angle? If everybody in society is armed to the teeth, don't you think the average person would walk out the door with the mentality of, I'm going to treat every person I have an interaction with a little bit more respect so that I don't get shot? Could that be a good deterrent and make a better society, elicit a better decorum overall to each other? Because
I don't
at
think
any
that's
moment,
how
if
it
you trigger the other person, they could shoot you.
Yeah, this is the kind of theory of mutually assured destruction, right? That if we all have guns pointed at each other's heads. I mean, you're saying your view of human nature is that human nature is good. And I think it's a tough situation. I don't think that, I think I would be nervous. I wouldn't want my children in a society in which everyone was armed. I don't think we would any longer have restaurants, and I don't think people would go to public places because it would be terrifying.
Why would it be terrifying?
If everyone's got a gun, you don't think that's a little bit of like a world in which people have lost, trust?
No.
Have you ever been on a military base?
What's the difference? What changes you fundamentally as the person you are by strapping a sidearm on? Do you suddenly lose who you are?
No, I understand. I understand that people have guns for various reasons.
So all these same people that you're advocating that we have high trust for, they don't change just because they're carrying a gun.
Well, let's say you were in a McDonald's with your kids, and there's a kind of sketchy guy, and he's open carrying. Wouldn't it make you a little nervous?
Not a bit. Been there.
But it made you a little nervous.
No.
Okay.
Don't even think twice about it. Literally. Don't even think twice about it.
What if a whole group
sometimes sometimes I might be like, oh, hey, man, you got a Glock 17. I love those. And he's like,
that's exactly what I was about to say. That's my second thought.
It's a great fucking sidearm. And let me tell you some more about it. Sometimes the motherfucker unloads it and hands it to me, and we talk about it, and it's a great fucking time. What a great icebreaker. More people should open carry.
All right, Maddie, for the next $5, we appreciate you. Does Benny really feel safe leaving his doors unlocked? Is he not worried about the Rhode Island mob coming after him about that zoning issue?
I looked up because I had to figure out before that court case who owned this property. Well, I was pretty sure who owned it, and I ended up looking up on the records, and you end up in an alley in the east side of Providence. It's all none of it makes any sense. So that was like, that's the answer you get. But I think that we all have seen the movies about the mafia. They don't hit family people. It's only people who are in their way. But I would love it if we could avoid talking about this, because I do respect the mafias. I do have that respect. They're not a legitimate authority, but I don't want to.
Don't worry. They're going to know from this conversation they can come over and you'll shine their shoes and give them a nice cup of coffee and work out your differences with them.
That's right. If the mafia showed up, I would say, let's work it out, guys.
Yeah. Hand me those shoes.
I just want to say to the mafia, or whoever, if there may be any mafia people here, that I respect you.
Hey,
Grace Thorp.
Ben, when you're 6'8", is it really hard to find knee pads that fit?
For what? Prayer?
When you're 6'8", yeah, is it hard to find knee pads that fit when you're 6'8"?
Your knees don't get any bigger. Some of your organs get bigger, and I'm sure you'll speculate upon which ones those are. And let me tell you, it's not necessarily, it doesn't work out that way.
Gotcha. Grace Thorpe for $20. Thank you for having my dad
$20
on. I thought he did a good job. Good here. Haha. Love this channel. Hey, Grace, we appreciate your viewership.
Yeah, you were very sweet, Grace. Thank you so much for helping us fix the audio problem. We certainly appreciate that.
Wonderful girl.
You're awesome.
Love her very much.
Nothing but ones in chat for Grace. She was great. We all know it. Put the number 1 in chat. Make sure you show Grace that we are Grace respecters here. She was so nice to everybody.
Gotcha. And I think we are all out of super chats, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, ones. There we go. Hitting us with the ones. One. Look at all those ones. All for you, Grace. Thank you so much for being so kind.
Hey,
Gotcha.
she wants to do a debate on your channel, all female, and she
I'm
wants
sure-
to debate the topic: should women give back to men the right to vote? Wouldn't that be fascinating? And she takes the pro. Wouldn't that be a fascinating debate? All females, except the moderator, can be male.
I think we
You
had
wanna
more
see
super
angry
chats
people.
than that, didn't we? Didn't we, Pedro? Are you sure?
I'm not. I would have to think about it. I need some time. Oh wait, I think we have another one that came in. 1 second. Joe R for $9. I have a conspiracy that Ben is not 6'8".
1 inch taller than Owen Benjamin.
Gotcha.
Can't prove it.
All right,
Can't prove it.
Ben, do you have any non-cringe words of wisdom?
No, there's 2 more super chats. Hang on, you missed them. Let me pull
Oh,
them up.
you found them?
Yeah.
I do have a hashtag.
Hang on,
kind of
hang
thing. Oh,
Dude, weed. You missed that one.
tobacco. Bad.
Dude, weed. Oh,
Dude,
nice.
weed.
Thank you. 420. Yes, thank
Hang
you for
on.
your $4.20 donation.
Yeah.
Did Pedro, hang on. Because Jim Bob just said, fuck, you missed my chat again.
No, I got it. I got
He
it.
said he sent another one in.
What?
Yeah. I saw you get the first one. There,
I
you
love
missed
Jim
this
Bob.
one. I can see it. Do you
I
get
love your
scared when
artwork.
people conceal carry?
Well,
Ben?
you wouldn't know if they conceal carry, right?
Well, I don't understand though. I think you're missing his point. That is his point. So what he's saying is that your fear is all coming from your brain. All of those people who are carrying those guns openly could be carrying them concealed. You'd have no frame of reference, and you just
Right.
trust them anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
So
you're
why
saying, how do I feel about
would the
people?
thing being seen so that he's showing you that he's armed be different than the thing being concealed? Why is that a trust breaker for you?
Well, I mean, I don't have knowledge of who's carrying concealed weapons. So, if I knew a bunch of people in McDonald's had concealed weapons, I suppose I would also feel right. But I don't know.
Well, I mean, you
If
understand.
I knew someone at McDonald's was a mass murderer, I would feel. But I don't know that from looking at them.
Right, but that's his whole point. He's saying that it's feelings, not it doesn't make any sense.
It's
All of those people
it's
could be
information.
carrying guns, and likely at least one of them probably is carrying a gun. If you're in a concealed carry state and you have no idea, it's just the presence of the thing literally makes you feel unsafe, but that doesn't make any sense because the presence of the thing is there regardless. Logically,
Yeah,
right?
I understand the open carry is in some ways more assuring than concealed carry. Yeah, I understand that. Well, because at least you're saying it's easier to get an open carry permit, right?
No,
than a
you don't
concealed.
need a permit to open carry.
I think in Rhode Island you do.
Well, I don't know about that specific state, but I doubt it. Almost every state that I'm aware of, you can open carry to some degree or another. Even in California, you just have to carry it unloaded. In California,
We're a
defeats the point.
We're a blue state, so I'm sure it's very restrictive. But
Then,
I don't know.
did Buzz play golf on the moon?
This was the litmus test. Buzz Aldrin, did he play golf on the moon? I don't know. I don't know. I don't.
Gotcha.
For 10 pounds, Neon Noir says, wholesome show, to be honest. I mean, to be honest, I
Hey.
agree. All right. Hydronic
All
Bear
right.
for $5 Canadian. That's 2 toonies and 1 loony, says, Ben, it sure seems like you follow a lot of people you disagree with. Why?
I don't know what that means. Follow on the internet.
Yeah, he's saying that he thinks that you're chasing clout.
I am chasing clout. Yeah, I love you guys. I think you guys are superstars, and I want to chase clout right to take over the internet with you.
Take over the
I think you
internet.
guys are stars. I love Jim Bob's community. I love Posh. I think you guys are terrific, and we should. I'm not trying to take over anything.
Well,
but
I blame Jim Bob for not anything in his community that goes wrong or anything else that goes wrong. I blame him for being close friends with Posh, and
Right.
we all know that Posh is the reason everything goes wrong. We all know that that's true.
I talked with him first. Yeah, I know. So the conspiracy
Now-
widened.
I did want to just make this abundantly clear that Jim Bob's just got done saying in chat.
I was clicking it up when you clicked it up.
Okay, go ahead. Click it again. He said, "Fuck off. You're not welcome in my community." I just wanted to let you know. Just wanted to make.
But your chat wants me back. There was a guy today who put in T and then an H, O, R, and P.
Yeah, but you
I
remember
went.
when I was
But I
talking-
respect Jim. I respect
Do you remember
Jim.
earlier when I was talking about my moral foundations and feeling guilt? The second I'm done with this, I'm going to feel a lot of that guilt.
You're gonna
Not
feel
that
dirty.
much. Not
you gonna
nearly
feel
as
dirty?
much as I probably should.
But because you
but
were
a little bit.
disrespectful, unlike Pedro, my man. You were disrespectful. You'll feel
That's not what I'm
guilty.
going to feel the guilt about.
plus
I don't
some
think
of
he's
them-
going to feel guilty about that at all.
Some of the excitement about the oiled men. Also, you'll feel a little dirty. Time to take a cold shower.
I do feel dirty about hearing about the oiled up men from you already.
I
Ladies
don't.
and gentlemen, it's been a wonderful night. Thank you all so much for showing up to the Crucible. We appreciate it. Make sure that you become members of the channel.
Yes.
Hit the join. And we've been increasing our membership here. We're super appreciative of that. It really makes us or makes the production
Great.
value go way up, helps us so that we can afford to make sure that Pedro and his wonderful wife can go out and have a steak dinner every once in a while. You see all the work that this poor bastard has to put in just to get guys like Ben Thorp on here. Holy shit. We're out.
I bet those glasses make you see better.